This is gonna be the most non-politically correct.
Oh yeah, no,
We're freaking. We're getting kicked off iTunes.
No boundaries
today.
Okay.
Christian hate group.
Christian hate group.
Welcome onto the path of the Jaguar.
Yo, Andy Valerio in the building, baby.
Yeah, that's it. That's how important he is. His voice.
I
His own
introduced myself.
introduction. Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Andy Valerio.
Wait, did you have like something else to introduce me?
Yeah, I had this whole script ready, man. It was
Don't worry
beautiful.
about it. I took care of it
Just throw
for
that
you.
shit in the
I'm
garbage.
saving you money. I'm saving you money. I did it
just fired
myself.
on my writers.
I got
all the way up from Alabama, Andy Valerio. Freddie's here,
What's up?
and Chris
Touching
is
down.
in the back right there.
Hello.
I hope you can hear him all the way in the boondocks.
Yo.
Before we get to start on this exciting podcast, this is an ad-free podcast. But first, I have to tell you guys about Unseen Cove. I know you guys are so excited to continue shopping because you guys are done from Christmas. So definitely go and buy more shirts, more hoodies, more hats, more gifts. Go fucking crazy. Get the whole collection while you're at it. UnseenCove.com. Well, the next one will be quick. Solar. I don't have to say more than that. You can literally produce electricity from a ball of fire in the fucking sky. Stop wasting your time. Email me. There's 20 states.
20.
20.
Almost to the halfway point.
That's it.
We're almost
and then,
there.
And then we're going to be at the 100% point.
That's how it works. Once you get to
With
half.
Global
floating cities.
takeover.
Yeah.
Andy, I already know where I want to start. I had a question for you
Let's do
last
it.
night. Me and Andy weren't allowed to talk last night. Anytime a good conversation,
At the bar, we were like, yo, let's save it. Save it for
We'll
save
talk
it
about
for
the
tomorrow.
Yankees until now. I'll start off with Andy with this question, and then I'll have you guys follow up. My question to you last night was, do you think you want influence?
Whoa, who's interrupting our show?
Freddie.
Yo, the one
interrupted
time
the
we
show.
bring a ad-free show.
Yeah, everybody with their phones off. That reminds
my
me.
phone?
Airplane
Good
mode.
idea.
Airplane mode.
Sorry, it's my mom, guys.
It's not important. Just tell her she's got to wait
It's
another
a
2
business
hours.
call.
So the question is, do you think influence is something that you want, and do you think it's important to you at all? Do you think that influence would be a good thing for you to have?
From other people?
I think
Like, essentially,
If
being
he
able to have
had
influence on
influence.
others.
Oh,
Having
okay.
influence.
the most important thing, like for me, is that, and I was saying this last night, it's not so much the desire to have an influence on somebody, but you just want to see everybody in a good spot. You know, I want to see you have a joy, have a peace to yourself that, you know, that I'll be excited to see. I don't have to worry about you. You know, you're in a good position. That's what I want. I think inspiration is a means to try to get people around you to that point, but that's not something I'm like I want to influence these people. I'm more like I want to see these people good, you know? So that's how I see it.
Now, do you think, so Andy's our honorary Christian theology representative.
Yeah.
So like
No.
you have in your mind the way to heaven and to happiness. So by you having influence, you can essentially share those things. You think you can help these people. So does that mean that you kind of do want influence because you could help them? Because like you want them to be good, but let's say you do have the tools to make sure that they're good. Does that mean, because I've been noticing that too, like with the podcast, I'm like, I think I do want to have influence on people, because I think I do want people to know the things that I've learned, and I want to share that so people can be good and we can share the love and so on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that I think when it comes to truth is like a treasure, you know? And if you come across any treasure, with the ones you love, you want to share it with them. You know, you want people to share in that treasure with you. And so when it comes to inspiration, I feel like it has to relate to some type of truth. When you're giving people truth, sometimes it hurts though. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you're being hurt at the same time, it could motivate you to become better. But I think all that is done out of love. Like all that inspiration, all that is grounded in love. It should be. I think, like for example, if somebody was just dying to be that person that, I wanna change people's lives, like just to feed my own ego.
Yeah.
I think that's wrong.
Of course. Yeah, I would agree with you on
but
that as
for
well.
you, like I see you, you're just interested in people. You want to just get to know them. You want to just hear about them. You love sharing your thoughts. You love hearing other people's thoughts. So it's like it reciprocates. It's something that you both sharing. It's an experience you both sharing. So it's not so much to feed your own ego. I think you just enjoy this. This is your passion, and so why not do it? Why not make it some type of I mean, the end of it, you want to make money, obviously. You want to make this your.
But there's other ways to make money.
Yeah.
And so this way, I feel like, again, it's educational. And it's fun. This is fun. I'm doing what I'd be doing anyways with a microphone.
This emphasizes the importance of dialoguing with people.
Yes.
Having a relationship with people face to face. I mean, social media is cool, but you know, I forgot where I read it, but they're saying that the more we're becoming attached to social media, the more we're like on Instagram, on Facebook, stuff that is connecting us with people all around the world, the more we're becoming more isolated from the world, which is like it's like a paradox, yo.
I agree with that.
But
It's because it doesn't turn off. So it's like, yeah, when I'm at work and you're in Alabama, me and you can have a conversation and we're connected and there's a social connection with us. But then you come out and then we're at a bar and then I pull out my phone to look at Instagram. Now it's taking away.
It's also not a pure connection.
It's not.
Like, you're not getting the full thing. You're not around the person. You don't get the body language. You don't get the feel off the person. You get a little teaser. It's like watching movie trailers instead of watching the whole movie. I get a bunch of movie trailers of a person on Instagram that they choose to show to me.
A movie trailer through like fog glasses, those drunk glasses. Because like how many arguments are caused because I misunderstood your tone in that. Oh, I didn't realize you were being sarcastic.
yeah. You don't know the context. You don't know what they're saying, how they're trying to convey it, and then so we're very defensive on social media. And another aspect of it is that like you'll come to people's houses, right? And they'll be on their phone and people are just walking around them, you know, but they're just so glued to this screen that you become desensitized to people being around you.
Yeah.
And that, I think, hurts our ability to communicate with each other. You know what's really like, what's a beautiful thing is having a conversation with a girl over the phone. That's a beautiful thing. And I think like texting, all that stuff, it's really hurting the communication, the ability to communicate with somebody face to face, or you know, just vocally, like hearing their voice and just laughing with each other, like that's special. I think people are just built to share relationships, you know, sharing that relationship, share in dialogue and get to know people. And I think through text you're really restricted, but we're limiting to that. We're limiting everything to that. We're limiting everything to just text, which
It's nice to talk on the phone.
yeah.
And it's good to text.
Staying up late at night.
It's
Say hi
almost
to
too
Kelvin
aggressive.
on the camera.
Kelvin's on the spot.
Guap gang.
Did you just unlock a character
Like, when do you start calling a
on
girl
Super
on
Smash
the phone?
Brothers?
I lost to ninjutsu.
Oh, okay. Ninjutsu.
That's a good question.
Made up
Lost.
character.
When do you do
Greninja.
it?
Now it's like too much.
Before you used to start off with that. We didn't have that step
that's how
to
you got
go
to
from
know someone
text,
before.
then the phone call,
how
or
you-
from email, then the phone, or through some type of app, and then a phone call. It was the phone call is what started the relationship. You
Before
know,
there was
you
no
got the
phone
number,
call.
and it was just that. Oh, you have to.
Before, yeah, you had to wait till the person got home, or you
Talk to their mom.
Word. Oh my
Yo,
God.
yeah, is freaking Cindy there? This is like,
Her mom, yeah.
who's this?
Her
The
mom.
dad. The dad picks up the mom, and then the dad picks up on the other line. You know, when they can pick up the same line on the same home.
You're trying to
Oh my God.
like have
Yo.
phone sex and dad's listening.
Yeah. I don't know, man,
call
but
the
I
boss's
missed that.
daughter once.
I thought that was exciting. You know what I'm saying? And the kids will never know that. They will never know what it's like calling up somebody's home to get through the parents to get to the daughter. You know, like
Oh, dude, the anxiety of the phone ring. Like,
Word.
I hope she
yeah, I hope
Yeah.
it's her. Just hang up so somebody else picks up.
voice. Who's just calling my phone? Jamie Foxx. is
Call my phone.
Another thing that I feel like we didn't even get to experience, and then another issue with this is we're never away from people. So at all points, someone can reach out to you. So, you know, let's rewind 300 years and you go and you hop on a boat, you go across the fucking world. No one's going to hear from you.
Yeah.
When you come back, it's like, oh, you're back, whatever. They have no idea if you're alive or whatever. Now, you can go away on a vacation or you can go away for the night and everyone can reach
You're
out
tapped
to you.
in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can't, like, just be in the moment because people are constantly...
We're
and then
on
they
the grid.
and they expect things from you.
Yeah, I'm great.
Oh, I didn't hear from you in a day? This is something wrong. Like, yeah, I'm over here. You're over there. It's cool. Like, if I died, I died. There's nothing you could do about it. I'm away. But like, I guess because we have so much more connection, we have more worry because we have an actual, like, I don't know, because we can actually reach out to each other. And I think that's
and
it's
the
good,
anxiety
it's
that's
bad.
happening in that environment can get poured into your environment through that communication. Like, I could be hanging out with you guys
but
here,
it doesn't.
away from.
That could be anything. It could be a great thing. You know.
No. But I'm just saying, like, what he's saying is that you can't become free from this environment. Like, you can't go away and enjoy a vacation and just be
life's gonna follow you.
focused
But you
on
can't.
your.
You can leave your phone.
Yeah, you can leave your phone.
But then
No,
people
you
get
could also
upset.
just
Why
not
didn't you pick up
use
your
it.
phone?
You could also just
I
not
texted
use
you.
I don't know, but who
I
really
Facebooked
leaves a
you.
vacation, turns their phone off? Like, that's rare. People
wanna do
that. Yeah, it's nice.
I wanna
It's
do that.
ideal to do that, but I think people
You don't
always.
have to answer those notifications though.
Yeah. That,
Well, not even notifications, just calls,
Like, I was talking to my
texts.
sister-
It's how
I was
people
talking to
get
my
upset
sister-
with you, though.
I was talking to my sister about this. She was, you know, how they have the screen time management thing
Mm-hmm.
on iPhones now, and you can set your limits
It's
to your
depressing to
social media.
look at, man. Sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
You're like, damn.
Oh, this is how much
But
of my
it's
life
real.
I'm wasting.
It's good
Cool.
to look at because then you're like, oh my god, I spent 7 hours. Like 7 hours a week doesn't sound like a lot because it's 7 days. But what else do you spend 7 hours doing throughout your week? Do you read books for 7 hours? It's just.
Keep
It's,
talking.
but so as with my sister, she wants to like use her phone less, and she wants to get better at managing that aspect of her time. But then she won't. When I go, well, set a time limit on your social media to an hour. She does it, but then ignores it every time, and goes, "It's too hard."
Yeah.
And it's just not too hard. You're just getting notifications, and you feel like you can't say no to them. Like you have to learn how to say no.
yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that. Where if I get a notification, I feel like I immediately clear it.
Turn them
'Cause
off.
I don't like.
Turn them off.
No,
you don't
it's not
have to
even-
get badge notifications. You know, it doesn't have to come to you.
Well,
You
we're
can
just
be
talking through,
in the
like-
app, you can get rid of the little red, that little red
Yeah, that-
circle with a white one. Or
How do you turn
three
that
in
shit
it.
off?
The
You
red.
just go to the
Yeah,
turn
I
the
Find out how to
You
turn
turn the
that
badges
on.
off. You turn the badges off.
I didn't know that.
You go to, yeah,
That's
you
the
go to
devil
app
right there.
settings.
That's his eye.
We should do a
Can't hear you.
tutorial.
Come say hello to me.
Yeah.
Come play.
Siren,
I turn that off.
Sauron, that's it.
I turn that off on my text messages. Like if someone important texts me, I see it and I'll respond as soon as like if my mom texts me, I'll respond.
And put your group
Anybody
chats
else,
on
I'm just like
silent.
I'll deal with that later. Oh, there's no group chat I have that's not on silent.
Yeah, because it's too
You're
much.
out of your
I
mind.
hate
Your
group
chat's
chats.
You
not on
never get
silent.
left alone.
Leave me
It's- And then again, it's the expectations. People get upset.
2019.
You didn't respond to my text. And it's like, I'm living my life. Leave me alone. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not this fucking my phone
Or-
slave. You
I
know.
think
Or you know, what, it's not really that. You gotta stop taking shit so personal too. Like, yeah, you know, I didn't answer your text.
True.
Yeah, but somebody said that to you, Fred. You're like, damn, you're
Yeah,
a
but
jerk.
that's
You're a
right.
freaking jerk.
I would
You've been
text you.
deleting them
No,
from
I
your
feel-
contacts.
I
Like,
feel
I'm not
you.
never
Yeah,
told
it's
you
the
that.
same guy
would
throwing his
feel
phone
that.
across the room.
Because I would-
Just let me rent.
I would take it personal,
Out
but
the
I
window.
feel like that's something that we all need to work on is taking
course.
things less personal.
Yeah,
Of course.
It's
Yeah,
not
we
really
become-
even you. It's just the person doing something else right now. Or they
Or just doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's
said-
under
you
that
said, "How
same
are you?"
theme,
No one
detachment.
cares.
Word. I'm sorry. I'm
great.
interested in telling you how I am right
I'm
now.
great, thanks.
I'm great.
I'm great. What do you want me to say? I'm
I
fine.
like the question about influence though.
Yeah. You mind if I throw in one thing
Yeah.
and then we go on that? Because while we're in social media, I don't want to talk about social media again. Kids.
What about kids?
Kids, what do you think these kids are going to turn into 20 years from now?
Oh, they can't speak already.
But it's the same.
So
worry.
that's my point.
But it's the same worry that
My
our
whole-
parents had about us.
Nah,
Nah,
because
worries.
before
It's
always
more
worries.
advanced.
Yeah, because this is out there. So
Yo, is this podcast
very
about you
advanced.
guys or me?
You're a guest. Look it up.
No.
Don't worry, your name's gonna be in the title. Their names aren't. So you'll be special.
to Andy.
No, I'll put an arrow so people know it's you.
I'm sorry. No, that was a joke. I didn't want to interrupt what you guys were saying.
No, keep it up.
No, you did.
So the kids.
Less personal. Less
where that-
personal.
see where that is.
My bad.
Let's talk about the difference between the generations of the kids who, at 1 or 2, can go through an iPad and the people who didn't.
Oh, that's terrible.
Okay, so when I grew up, let me tell you. Let's go
Back
through
in my day.
my life. When I grew up, we were kicked out of the house and we were forced to go play outside
Word.
because everybody, the adults were hanging out in the living room and they didn't really want you there. So you either went all into a room and hung out, or you all went outside.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were just so much more creative. And not only that, you were relating to people. You were learning how to talk to people. You were
Word.
learning how to understand
And
each
you
other.
are outdoors.
Learning how to also entertain
Very
yourself.
important. Outdoors.
And-
We don't know how to
entertain yourself,
entertain
yeah.
ourselves anymore. Like how to take up that time.
We let other people entertain us
Yeah.
with what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? We watch other people have fun and we're like, we get a little laugh, we get a little chuckle here and there. But they're living life and we're stuck staring at a freaking screen. How many hours a week? How much does a time thing say? You know what I'm saying? Like,
many.
how much time you spend there
what it
just
says.
staring at other people
It's
have
more
fun?
like nobody's living their life because nobody's doing anything too extravagant.
Yeah, everyone's
You're just
living
seeing a little pockets of everything. So everybody's just at home looking at everybody else do a little bit of nothing.
Dude, and when I think about what my day
average.
consists of, it's like
Everybody's
I work,
suffering.
I'm in front of a computer all day.
To live is to suffer, yo. It's my Buddha.
Where's my movie?
Right there.
But yeah, like we're at work all day looking at a computer screen, and then like I get home and it's like I want to get a break from that, and then I like turn on the TV
Before
or
you
like
get
check
home,
out my
you're on the
phone.
subway
I'm on
looking
my
at your phone.
phone, yeah, exactly. And it's like fuck, man. There's no break from it. It's just constant information. When if I'm waiting online, I can't even remember the last time I've been bored because I always have something to do. I can read something on my phone. I can write something on my phone. I can catch up on this article, this video. There's no bored time, and I it's a good thing. But I almost feel like maybe I should be bored every once in a while. Maybe that's essentially what you do when you meditate. Like you just
Nah, I definitely still get bored with or without.
You get
my
burnt
Damn.
out.
I also get like sad.
I was gonna say the word depressed.
Wait, what? Sad because of what?
Yo, if you after you spend a certain amount of time on your phone and you just have nothing to do for the day, it's in your brain. So
You're
you
burnt
think,
out.
yeah, you're just like, what am I doing? I
Overstimulated.
open and close this app 6 times in a row.
But that's because we should be doing other things with our life instead of like
Yeah.
waiting
Go
through our
outside.
phone.
And we
like,
restrict
interacting with people is
life.
for a walk.
Like
Yeah, we do.
if this app is getting boring, I'm bored. We have so much opportunity to do whatever we want. Like there's so much out there, and we're just like, yo, this app is boring.
Yeah, no one's hitting me
I'm
up.
just gonna go to sleep.
Nobody
You know
liked my
what I'm saying?
picture. We rechecking
Yeah,
how many
but-
likes you got.
Sleeping is different though. Sleeping.
Like, team sleep.
Yeah, that's,
Team
When
sleep.
I
No, I
feel
understand that.
though,
Sleep
I
is-
usually, like it's really good. Like if I have to go outside, like if I go for a car drive or go to the
Yeah.
supermarket, or
You
whatever,
gotta do something.
I feel life again.
Yeah.
Just leaving the house and doing something, you just feel like
Oh, I
Adventure.
make excuses.
I
to
did
leave.
something today.
Yeah.
yeah, even something like
I'm
that.
so productive. I went to the fucking post office.
Yeah, to get jewels.
But sometimes you have to go against your own desires. Like, for example, going to the gym is one of the hardest things for somebody to do. But tell me when you go to the gym and you're getting to the end of it, and you're getting out of the gym, you feel good.
Yeah.
You feel like so
I'm
much
gonna do this every
energy
day
is just
now.
like pouring through
I'm
you,
never
man.
gonna stop
It's-
working out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this all the time. Next day, you're just like eating chips.
I've never
like
left,
bag
I've
of
never
chips
left
on your
the
belly.
gym.
Just
I've never left the gym full of regret. Like I
You
should
never
have.
regret it.
You regret when
That's
you
a
don't
sign
go.
that you should do
Yeah,
it
a
more
bunch of
often.
things. Like
Yeah.
that's how I am with meditating, yoga, jujitsu. I never regret going. And that's like the other day, me, Chris, and Rob went to jujitsu, and
Yeah.
we're all in our minds, like while we're texting each other, like making excuses.
Yeah.
But the one thing that kept me going was like, all right, I'm gonna regret not going. I'm not gonna regret if I go. And it's like
I was faking.
we
it.
have to fight our desires.
But what is that struggle inside you? You know what I'm saying?
Laziness.
It's just like this
Yeah,
huge resistance.
resistance.
But it's just something you always have to struggle with, and you have to overcome. And when you overcome it, you are glad you did. You know, you're like, yo, I defeated you. I defeated
Yeah, that sense of conquest and
that
and
lead weight
accomplishment.
that was like trying to hold you back from enjoying life.
What is that?
It's a lie.
know.
That's
Because I don't know if it's
that's
simply
the
just
devil.
laziness.
A liar.
Because everyone's just a base laziness that you don't want to get up. Like
It's easy.
It's
Yeah, it's
Probably.
easy. You just
But you know
sit
it's what
there
you want to
comfy in
do.
your bed.
You know you're gonna feel great.
Well, the thing is,
still-
you want the results, but you don't want to put in the work.
You're detached from the outcome. You don't know what that feels like until you go into it again. You're like, oh yeah, this is why I do
Yeah,
this.
you forget almost.
Yeah.
Like you forget the feeling. And
That's
in
what I
the
was trying to
moment-
mention to you earlier about the Greek word agon, where it's like you have to, humans have to put themselves through constant struggle. That's the only way we succeed. Like they used to do races in Athens to see who's the fastest 60-year-old. And 60-year-olds were one.
Wait, 60 or 6?
60-year-old.
Oh,
We should
okay.
do that.
And
Still,
so, yeah,
makes
and-
some old people run.
And so if they look at like football, right?
Yeah, but how many of them are like dying on the way? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like
Bad heart
30%.
conditions,
Hey,
just
no one said it's easy.
yeah.
So yeah, football is a great
entertainment is-
example.
You're gonna lose a couple.
But if we're watching a football game, like the Greeks, they'll look at it and be like, "Wow, that's amazing! This is great. Why aren't you guys doing it? Why are you guys paying them to do it? You all should be doing it."
Yeah.
So that's the idea. We're gonna need to struggle.
That inner
and it
struggle.
just makes you a little better when you do conquer it, like you were saying.
Yeah,
think it's
because
work.
nothing should be easy in life, and that's why you get the reward. Oh, I get to look good. I get to be stronger at this. I'm smarter now. I'm this. I'm that. If it was free, it would be different. But because you have to struggle for it, it's like it's more admirable and things like that. Back to the influence. I was holding on to that, Chris. Tell us about your relationship with wanting influence.
I don't know. I just I think the thing I thought of first is I think a lot of ways about it. So I want influence. A part of me wants influence to help other people in ways that I think they can be helped. The things that work for me and kind of translate them to other people. But then you also, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because like I know, so like when I've had influence over people, or when I have influence over people, whether it's at work with like people on my team, and influencing them or motivating them to do more or commit more to the job. And then sometimes you go like, but what if that's not good for them? What if I'm keeping them here longer than they should really be here? Maybe they should move on. Or maybe this isn't for them and I'm convincing them otherwise or trying to convince them otherwise. Or like with younger siblings or cousins or people in your family, like when they look up to you and you have that influence and you're giving them things in your life, from your life that benefited you, whether it's like psychedelics or it's like certain workouts or just different things that you feel are good. Now you're giving it to them with a weight. So there's a responsibility to influence that I don't want.
Yeah.
But it
comes with it.
But it comes with it. It's innate. And whether or not you want it, you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like
It's a double-edged sword.
I like having influence. I like having the level of influence I have where it's not I'm aware. I feel like I'm aware of the influence I have. Whereas if I'm like Joe Rogan, like what kind of influence does that guy have? That, like everything he says is going out to millions of people that adore him and really take it for like full weight. Like if he says something, it happens to me. He says something on his podcast, it's true. It's 90% true.
Man's infallible. He's the Pope of the podcast.
Pope Rogan.
Pope Rogan.
The quote from Spider-Man, great power comes with great responsibility. And I've been noticing with myself that like I want to hold back from giving advice. When someone asks me a question, what they should do, I want them to answer it. Because I realize, I can't tell this person what to do because I might fuck them up. I might lead them in the wrong direction. It doesn't work for everybody.
You never know your words to somebody else.
Yeah, so it's like you have to be
Well, you could
careful.
I could say something to Kelvin, to Andy, or you, just joking around, and then like I will never remember that. Yeah. I will never remember that.
But it might play in my head.
Yeah.
I told you to get divorced? You sure about me? Oh, well.
Yeah, man, it changed my life.
I mean, if that's how you're feeling, bro. Yeah.
And that's kind of like the scary thing, and like because we're all here on our paths, of the Jaguar, and like only ourselves can lead ourselves in the right direction. Like no matter what advice you give me, you could tell me a million times what to do. At the end of the day, I'm the one. It's like you can't bring
the horse to the water. Yeah,
exactly.
But you can't make them drink. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like there's so many people. Like I'm sure you see it too, where it's like, oh, this person's struggling, and you want to like give them a helping hand in some sort of way, but it's like, am I going to make it worse? Yeah, and some people can't be helped, and it's like, I can't help that person. This person needs more, and it's like,
when should you give up? That's a harder question.
Depends on the person. It's all contextual. Like,
it all depends on the situation and all.
Right,
that,
but like,
I'm gonna
you gotta
take
know
a
your
long walk.
strengths. Is what you're saying.
Because
you
some
gotta
people
know your limit of what you're capable of, and then knowing when, okay, maybe I should pivot or try something else.
And that's a good point, because I'll see people trying to help another person out, but that person himself that's trying to help the other person out isn't on a good platform himself to help that person out.
Right.
And so that person that's the victim, that needs help, he ends up pulling down that person. And you got to warn these people. You'll tell them, like, listen, you know what this person's involved in. You know you have issues with that. I know you're trying to help him, but at the same time, you're not in that position to help him. Yeah. You can basically relay him to somebody else that has the resources to help that person. But that's the problem. Like, you got to look at every situation for what it is. And I think just attack it from that position. But some people are just not in that position to help others. We're all called to help others, but it all depends on what. There's so many variables,
knowing that's the hard part. Knowing whether or not you're in a position. Like, I feel like if you want more influence, it's like a bad trait. It's narcissistic. Like, wait, you think you're doing so well, like you need more influence to help out others, but then maybe you are. Like knowing the what it comes down to is like being aware or like I guess objective about whether or not you actually are in a place to give positive influence to someone. But how would you ever know that?
I saw this.
We never figure it out. Like I've never gotten to a place where I figured this out.
Yeah, you're always growing. There's no completely entirely figuring something out. That's one of the things that I'm talking about, where it's like, do we want these things? Do we not want these things?
Yeah. And sometimes helping is enabling people too.
Yes.
Like that guy we saw yesterday. That guy was healthier than all of us there. That guy could probably move more packages, pick up bigger blocks than all of us.
For context, people, we were walking home from the bar and...
I thought he was with the people ahead of us.
Word.
So did I.
So
he turned around and started dancing.
There's this couple walking ahead of us, and there's this other
Kelvin's,
guy there.
Kelvin's comment.
And and so this guy just starts like beatboxing to us as we're walking home.
And
dancing.
And rapping.
Like in our ear.
Like bad at first. Very
Like he
bad.
just joined our unit. We're just walking down the block, and he joins us and just starts rapping,
For like 2
beatboxing.
months.
And we don't necessarily know what to do with this guy because this guy could potentially be a threat. This is a stranger walking in the street and
I
he's
kept looking
getting
behind
really
thinking he was
close to
trying
you,
to
I was recording.
beatboxing and doing this, and that, and getting close to you. And it's like, well, first of all, I don't know you. Why are you coming this close to me and getting this close to my ear and making these sounds? So you don't know what to do there. But the man's outnumbered, so we're safe in that sense. But then he wants to go ahead and after he's done, beatboxing for 5 minutes, then he wants to reach out his hand and go, hey,
Yes,
can you give me some help?
Help.
Give me some change. He goes,
No, but first he asks for help.
That's
It's
what
funny.
he asks for
It's funny how he ultimately wants money, but he's like, can I get some help?
Which is so funny because it's like, wait, that's weird that you came over to us because you wanted something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you just genuinely wanted a beatbox.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
I
wanted money.
Oh.
And then after we say no, what does he say? You know what? Fuck y'all.
yeah,
Well, we didn't say no. He asked for
Calvin.
help, Then he asked for
change. And Calvin goes, Calvin, what'd you say?
you gotta
Change. That was Obama.
Did you hear President Trump?
Trump is president now.
Obama promised change. Remember that?
That's when things got
You
rigged.
know what I gotta say? Fuck y'all.
You got pissed when I said
There
that.
it is.
You gotta play me like that?
He said the fuck y'all after all of it. Like you were the first one he asked. Then he asked all 5 of us, and
We
then
all-
he said
we all
fuck
denied
y'all
him,
because he was
yeah.
still. Oh, I still might get something out of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are no use to me. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
What's true? What's funny is he felt that way the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Give me your money.
Word.
If you're gonna ask for money, make a graceful exit. Because that at that point when he said something like that, you're just like, oh, I'm glad I didn't give you
Yeah,
anything.
good.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you. Thank you for showing your true colors.
But anyways, back to the point. We enable people
Yeah.
when we help them not to
Depends on the
set
help.
them up on their own too, but just to always keep them comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Don't give
I-
somebody a fish, teach him how to fish. Type
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah, it's definitely contextual. There's people that like you have to help. There's people that literally can't do it on their own.
We
They
all
need
need
to
help.
push. But there, yeah, I think that's a big thing, especially in this country right now, where it's like everybody needs to be helped, and it's like, oh, cool, and then I'll just kick back. Oh,
Yeah.
cool, I can get away with this much. All right, let me just get. And
And then other people are seeing that like, why am I working and this person's chilling?
Word.
My
I'll take
incentive
some.
is killed. I'm laying back. Yeah.
My issues with
I
the
saw
Democrats.
This cool video. Snoop Dogg was talking about this. I'm sure he got it somewhere else cool. But shout out to SNOOP.
Professor Dog.
So
Snoop
he was
Lion.
talking about how like if you and so coming from where he comes from and having all of his friends and then he goes ahead and becomes this icon and so he's gonna go ahead and move up and it's like you still have relationships with these people but you're on different levels essentially and he already made it up here. He can't come down to your level to go ahead and come. It's about closing the gap. So if we want to stay together and stay in the same plane, you got to come up to where I am. We got to go ahead and close this gap. But I
Yeah.
can't come back down to where you are. Like I made it to the next level. If you want to continue this and do this together, then you got to come up and meet me here and so on and so forth. It's about closing that gap. But I can't come down to then try and bring us both up. Like you gotta do your own part and bring yourself up as well.
That's what apparently a lot of people deal with. Like Erica Badu was talking about the same thing, where she started feeling guilt because she's super successful,
Right.
and then like she's seeing all these other people struggling, so she feels bad like driving in her new car. And it's like that. You shouldn't feel bad for those
Word.
things. And then you have a bunch of people who rich shame, which is very funny because that's a thing. Like they shit on people who have money and who have success because they're greedy. They're keeping it to themselves. Like no, that person figured the
or
thing
somehow
out.
like money automatically makes you lose perspective, which I
Yeah.
don't think is true. It's like, oh well, you
Certain
have
people.
money, so you don't
Yeah.
understand. It's just like okay.
There's plenty
It all
of poor
depends on
people
your
out
character.
perspective.
It all depends on your character
bit of
when
money.
you receive money. You know what I'm saying?
I
think
mean,
it's
but
just-
that would change it. But it all depends
can.
on the person
It
as
can.
well.
And I'm
Depends on the
saying,
person,
like,
yeah.
even
But you
a
should
little
have
bit of money
examples.
can change somebody.
100%.
Like, and it can really get to
Right.
their head. Or
No
like
money can change somebody.
Yeah.
People who think they're about to make it, they can change completely.
Or they have a friend who's rich. Oh shit! Now I'm a fucking.
Oh, I used to be
now I
like
can
that
talk to
before my friend got rich.
and that's something that again that it's where people stereotype and they generalize. All rich people are this, all poor people are this, or
Yeah.
and it's like no, that
But
doesn't work.
on the
That
flip
falls
side
apart.
of that coin too, like we're supposed to change. We're supposed to evolve.
Yeah,
Good
well,
change,
and you know
but
what?
there's bad
Yeah.
change too, though. Like
Exactly,
that
there
person
is,
who loses
100%.
perspective as having money, that's a bad change.
Yeah.
You're going backwards.
Right, of course. But the same way that
Think it's a pack
some
line.
people would say like, oh, he changed because he has money, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You also changed because he has money. You might be more interested in hanging out with him now than you ever were before because now you got something that I ain't got. And everybody's out for that. Everybody
Which
always
breeds
wants
envy.
something.
Yeah, people become more envious. They're not happy with what they got because they see you doing good. You know.
That's it.
Well, what do you
Instead of
expect?
being inspired by that,
Yeah.
like, yo, this is dope. There's somebody I should continue to have around me because they're, they're reaching new heights and things like that. And that's admirable and inspirational. So I know that I also have the power to do that. You know what I'm
they're
saying?
Cain in the story.
I
They're
thi-
bitter.
Yeah, but I think it's
also
just
what they want.
what money does sometimes. I think it just exposes what's already there, or it
heard
magnifies
that, yeah.
what is already
Money
there.
doesn't
in a
change people.
person.
Money
I think the same thing
exposes
with
people.
psychedelic.
Yeah.
Like
That could be both ways.
that's kind of how we're talking with the context. It really depends on the person. And we were talking earlier about influence. Like, people who want to have influence. And if you're the type of person that you just want to do it for money and greed, well, that's going to show.
Yeah.
Where if you're doing it for the right reason, then again, it's going to show in that
Do you
way.
expect people to stay the same, like the Anderson backline? Like
yeah.
it says, like something.
We do.
Like,
You
oh,
think you expect me to
changed,
do this all the same?
Yeah,
To stay the same?
You think I did all of this to stay the same? It's
Word.
like, of course, like that was
I'm
the
gonna
point.
change.
That's what motivated
I did this
me.
too, change.
I wanted to change my life.
You're just mad because you ain't changed.
Yeah,
You've been the same person for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
You're upset about
Is that what you
really.
want to be? You want to be the same person in 30 years? Like, no, the same character,
Yeah.
same values, maybe. But
That's
not the same person. If you're trying to achieve something, of course,
Like, if you haven't
your
progressed
life's
at
gonna
all?
change, you're gonna change.
Happiness is progress. Plenty of people say that. Like,
Yeah.
if you look back in your life and you go, oh, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're gonna fucking feel miserable. That's
Of course.
You're gonna change in a negative.
I'm already
You're
getting,
gonna change.
I'm already getting
you're gonna change regardless.
It's like, are you gonna change? Are you gonna actively control how you're gonna change? By progress, or are you just gonna you can get bitter and resentful like that?
And be a hater
Regardless
on,
of
on
change.
YouTube channels, fucking talking shit about
Yeah.
somebody's video.
No one goes, oh, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And go,
You can add whatever comments you want. You guys can talk shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just add
Free
comments.
speech, baby.
Free speech. Go ahead, Chris.
no one, yeah, when you ask someone like, well, where do you see yourself in 10 years? No one's happy with exactly what I'm doing now. Like, how many people
Yeah.
go, yeah, this is whatever's happening exactly right now is what I want.
Some
Unless
people
you're
are like that. They
some
just, they might,
people,
they just.
but
I don't
not
think
most
they
people.
they believe they're right, but they're not.
Like, who
Like,
would-
yeah, I want everything to stay the same. No,
Yeah.
really.
Who doesn't have aspirations that
Everybody.
they feel would bring them
Unless they lost hope, then they're not even thinking about it.
yeah.
As long there's people. there's- should they? No, that's a good one. That's a
Joke.
good. That's a good rabbit hole. Is it?
No.
We need to have like a joke.
Nah,
for that.
there's certain people that there's just you're
You're
a waste.
Oh,
You're a waste.
You're a waste of potential. You're a waste of life.
That doesn't mean they're low.
That sounds horrible.
Nah, but
at
they
the same time,
still
they gotta
retain their
just-
dignity. The thing that we're angry at
Who
is
retains dignity?
no, we all have dignity. Every human being has dignity. The only thing is we get upset with they don't tap into their potential.
Exactly.
That's the thing we get upset at.
That's the waste.
That's the frustration. Yo, Bronx Tale, one of my favorite movies. I think you get a lot of gold out of that movie, man. Just because it's not so much about action or anything like that. It's a mob movie, but it's about a boss who basically takes this young kid under his wing. And it's basically the contrast between power and love, or fear and love, but it's really about power and love. And what the whole theme of the movie is, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. I think we all have talent. We all have something we're given to bring into this world and to contribute to the world. The thing that's most frustrating is when people don't do they don't play their role,
And
basically.
that thing doesn't have to be like uniquely powerful and valuable.
No.
It can
Yeah.
be just the simple things that you bring into
Those
life.
things are powerful too, like
Yeah,
raising your
exactly.
kids and making sure they come out as great people.
It doesn't
That's
have
that
to be
powerful.
the thing in the movie. Like, not everyone's living a movie.
Yeah,
not
that's
everyone's
the
gonna
thing.
have this innate talent that's really gonna set them apart from the rest of the world. Like, there are supposed to be cogs in the machine.
Yeah.
Like,
Pe-
that's it. Like,
People think that
How
that's
the
what
machine
success
functions.
and
It's how it
is,
works. The machine doesn't
oh, I
work.
need to be the best dancer or the best musician.
Yeah.
That's what they think. Oh, I need to have the nice suit and the jet. And it's like
Everybody's eyes has to be on me, you know? And it's
like,
just
that's
like,
not what it is.
no,
That's not success.
Yeah, the background people sometimes play the biggest role, you know?
Yeah.
The people you don't see.
Word.
Yeah, like we went to that Broadway show this week, and it's like, yeah, you see the 20 people on stage, but do you see the 80 people behind the stage?
Yeah.
Do you see all the people that made this happen?
person who
that
wrote
had
the
nothing to do
script?
with it?
The
Everyone
person who
wants
owns
to
the
be
building?
Or the
everyone
stage
wants to
setup
have the
people?
microphone, but no one wants to like build the microphone or set up the microphone or realize that there's a job in that.
Sweep
Like,
the
that's what-
stage.
Yeah.
We all got a part to contribute. Yo, somebody's got to do it. Or it ain't getting
It doesn't
done.
happen. Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like a
Someone
talent.
slipping
thing,
on
it's
dust,
just like a-
tripping over a dust bunny on stage. The whole show comes down, catches on fire. Yo. Everybody got a part
Where's
to
the
contribute.
janitor?
Yeah.
Somebody call the janitor.
But I think it's our ego that doesn't let us.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to take that lower end of the.
Yeah, but it's that ego that also drives a lot of people too.
The
You know what
totem
I'm saying?
pole,
So
I'm
that
guessing.
same ego is what drives other people to success.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's just like, at some point, you almost have to realize, like, yeah, you know what, those things aren't meant for me. Or I haven't found the thing, that is going to make me the equivalent of like an MLB all-star in my field. Like, maybe you're not that. Like, I don't think I have any of that. Like, anything that's going to really set me apart and, like, give me some sort of fame in an industry or whatever. Like, I look at my life as, what the blessings I've been given and the things that I can be great at, maybe not the best at, and you just take value in that I'm great at these things and I'm getting better. Rather than, oh, I don't want to do this anymore because it's not working, or because I stumbled here, or, oh, this is, like, no one wants to go to trade school and just learn how to make parts for machines or make parts for cars.
Or farm. We need farmers.
Which
Nobody wants
has
be a
to
farmer.
all be done.
Everybody
It
wants to be
has all
Instagram
done.
famous.
And there's a lot of people that would be a lot better off going to a trade school than going to a liberal arts college for 4 years, or getting a business degree or a writing degree. Like, maybe that's not for you.
Yeah.
Maybe college isn't for you. Higher education could be in different ways.
Word. Education could be for you, but maybe not that type of education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one drives kids to that because that's not the glory. That's not the thing that, like, is gonna really change. Like, you don't necessarily. I think the American dream is, people coming to this country and their kids get to live a better life.
The progress.
But what if the American dream is that your kids get to live an equivalent life to what you built, and over time that is a better life because all of our quality of lives are increasing.
Like, and that's one thing where it's very funny how people, like, nowadays are complaining about how unfair this country is and this and that, but, like, we are at the top 1%.
Yeah, half of them have Apple Watches.
Yeah. They're complaining through the Apple Watch.
This is bullshit. Hold on, let me write on my phone too.
I can't type right now. Let me use the voice fucking record.
Battery life on this thing only lasts 8 hours.
So unfair. Yeah, and it's just, I feel like we're lost. We're a fallen state right now. Like,
The fallen state.
I
don't
feel
think
like one
so.
thing.
I don't think
Calvin.
it's fallen state yet.
Calvin.
We're on the way.
I see. I think
One thing where I feel
this.
like a lot of people, again, they lose perspective. Like, I feel like one lucky thing that we have is that we get to go to DR every once in a while, and you go, oh shit,
Word.
there's no running water. That's
Se fue la luz, yo.
Word.
We're not yelling that here every couple of hours.
Every
you
30
know?
minutes.
If
Whatever.
the light goes out here, I'm throwing a fit.
Yeah, I'm calling Con Edison. What the
Yeah.
fuck? You piece
Yo,
of shit.
you go through your Apple Watch. Yo, what's going on in my apartment right now? Get this fixed.
And then people forget those things, so then they just, the level of comfort just raises and raises, and if it slightly drops on there, it's a fucking big issue.
Yeah.
Like,
All of us have portable chargers. None of us have generators. What matters?
Word.
Which is beautiful.
it's good life, man.
Like, it's too easy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why it's like almost
And it becomes a
dystopic,
poison,
or-
yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think that's why there's a rise in depression as well, because it is
Rise in
too easy.
depression.
There's
You
no,
can
there's no
Incentive, no
Worse.
drive
Yeah.
to
People are getting
rise
softer.
above it, you
You
know?
can exist doing very little nowadays.
Because people
There's
are
a lot
comfortable.
of people who you can just
That are
have
just floating.
This float. Yeah.
I'm dancing for the people listening.
I'm-
You're missing out. Go on YouTube.
Yeah, go on YouTube, see this.
So, what do you like, Andy? Few small steps maybe to help humanity. Give us your plan. Save the world. No problem.
Oh, first one right here. Yo, get baptized. Believe in Jesus. I believe is the greatest example. Right? I can't ever drop that. That is what my whole being is like centered on is Christ. So I
Before I let you
think
pass that, give me more on the baptism. What is this water doing for me and the people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why get baptized?
all right.
I'm-
so
I'm
when
drinking glass
Christ,
water right
I
now.
want to make a
What's
video
the
about this actually.
Please do.
When Christ died, right? He was crucified, taking on our sins, right? We're in a fallen world. When you see evil, you experience bad things because we're in a fallen world. When Christ came into this world, he came to take all evil, all sin upon himself, right? All injustice, because ultimately all injustice is towards God. He came to pay that bill. He came to pay that ransom, all our wrongdoing. He came to pay all that. He paid it on the cross. he dies. 3 days, he resurrects, right? When you get baptized, you're getting baptized into Christ's death. So you share in that payment, in that ransom. You share in that saving power. So when you're baptized into Christ's death. It represents a death, basically. That's all it's doing. And because Christ resurrects, and we're all sharing Christ's body, we ultimately will be resurrected at the end. Because we're not built for this world. And I think that's the thing that we all find in us, and we all find makes us really uncomfortable about this world, is that we're like, yo, there's something more. There's got to be something more. It can't just be this. Why is all this happening in the world? Because we recognize we're built for something so much more. And that's what Christ came. He came to give us that gift of salvation, to open the gates of heaven. But we only do it through him. So, okay, so the reason I bring him up is because he came to set the example of how you give yourself. Dying to yourself. That's the thing our culture knows nothing about. We're very self-absorbed. Yes. We're all about ourselves. And he came to show, listen, I'm emptying myself out. I'm becoming man. I'm giving up what I had to come down to give my life over so that you guys may have life. You know, that's the example. That's the total dying to yourself. He actually died to himself, to his desires, to all that, so you can have life. And I think that's what we should strive for, because that's ultimately what love is. And Jesus says this. He goes, no greater love has man than this, that he lays his life down for his friend. You know, and that's what parents do. Parents lay their lives down for their children. Mm-hmm. They give, good parents. They give their lives up so something else can have life. But this is the crazy thing. Even though you're dying totally to yourself, you feel fulfillment in that.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with everything you said pretty much. Like especially the all injustices are towards God. Yeah. Because any little bad thing you do, it comes back around. We're all one. So if you're shitting on somebody, you're doing some injustice to somebody, you're doing it to God.
You're putting the energy out there.
Where does the water come in? Again, sorry to critique this little thing, but the baptizing.
It's symbolic.
Because that was the first thing you said, so it's symbolic. So my question is, can I go and I can try my best not to pass on injustice to people, put people before me, and do all the good things, and be like the ideal man like Jesus was, but not...
Without being baptized?
Without being baptized. Is that still... approved? Do I still get the stamp of approval on my life?
So
without the rituals.
That's a good question.
I understand the importance of rituals and symbolism. I 100% do, but some people can do it without that.
Okay.
You know?
So that's a good question, because when you look at the thief on the cross, he's crucified between two thieves, right? And one of the thieves is mocking Jesus. He's just like, yo, if you're the son of God, there's no yo in the yo in the Bible. I always do that. I'm like, yo,
Jesus.
Yo, my man.
Kind of a badass. Talking shit on the cross.
Yo, what's good, Jesus?
He's just like, because everybody, the community was well aware of what this man was doing. He was drawing a lot of people to himself, a lot of attention to himself. So while they're on the cross, one starts talking trash to Jesus. He's just like, if you're the son of God, why don't you come down from that cross?
Word.
And the other thief on the cross is like,
come down.
The other thief on the cross goes to the other thief. He goes, listen, we deserve to be here. He doesn't deserve to be here, And he goes to Jesus. He goes, if you remember me when you enter your kingdom. And then Jesus says to him, I say to you that today you shall be with me. So along these lines, it's paraphrase. Today you shall be with me in paradise. He was never baptized, but he saw the desire in his heart to be baptized.
Okay.
So when we ask the question, do I have to be baptized? Christ said we have to be baptized, regardless. There's different ways through baptism. That person on the cross wasn't baptized, but if he requests that we get baptized, then why not get baptized? You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you say, I could do it through all these other ways, but if he says, you know what I'm saying? If he says, unless one is born of water and spirit, he will not enter the kingdom. You know, Christ explicitly says we all need to get baptized by water and the spirit. Now, God isn't restricted to these means. You know, he doesn't say, oh, if you don't get baptized by water, I can't save you. Obviously, he can save you without that. But he requests that you get baptized through water, and that right there is what joins you to his body. So whether we can do it or not without water, at the end of the day, he says, get baptized.
But you understand my skepticism and how I know there's a lot of good with like many religions.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to accept what's literal and what's not because it's not plain yet.
But the earliest Christians,
a lot of it's metaphorical.
If you look at the earliest Christians, they were all that was one of the main things that they put forward. Is like, no, you're getting baptized by water. Like,
another thing with me is I'm very a big layer of my belief is materialism. Like, so like when I think like this water pouring on my forehead, someone saying words, I just can't see it having this profound like change.
It's symbolic of what's truly happening spiritually to you. It's an outward form. It's an outward expression of what's really happening to you because we can't see the metaphysical, you know. But it's an outward outward expression of something that's actually happened on a metaphysical level.
Now I'm saying like now can I get into like this deep prayer meditative mode and then accept all these things and there not be water there and that not still have the same effect because it's a different symbol for me. Let's say I have this symbol, but it still leads me into that direction. Again, I don't mean to dwell on this long. It's just that's just me showing you how I think.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I would ask, what did he request that we do?
Okay.
If he requests this, and the thing is with Jesus is when he taught these things, he taught them with at the same time as doing signs, at the same time as performing miracles to validate. Listen, I'm not from this world. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming from the other side to reveal. That's what revelation is. To reveal what this is all about. And so that's when faith comes in. We trust him. We trust him at his word and we follow. We're putting our faith in his teaching, in him. And so at the end of the day, you want to follow his teaching because yes, we could always try to find a loophole, but why? If he says it's this way, then we should put our faith and trust in him because there's power behind him, you know? And I think it's been illustrated down the centuries. You see it through the saints, like Mother Teresa. I think that is Jesus says, and there's one thing that's really important. Jesus says, judge a tree by its fruit. You know, you see what comes out of something if it's nonsense. But if it's true, then you're going to see the fruits of that truthfulness.
I said that to your mom the other day.
You're going to see it come to fruition. And, I mean, Christ changed the world, man. Nobody can deny that. You know, our timeline is based on this man. You know, before Christ,
Christianity
won.
How do they tell the year?
But up until this point, we have people, like, we all know people personally that have been changed if they take it seriously, you know? But like people like Mother Teresa, John Paul II, these people, Padre Pio, these people are really powerful figures that all they do is let Christ's light shine through them. And so when you try to follow Christ, I think that's what brings light into this world. I think that's what really brings true change because we're so attached to this world and Christ came to teach us to die to this world because it's not going to fulfill you. You know, and that's, I think, the problem with this. That's the problem with the strictly materialistic view, which I know you don't hold, but it's, I'm going to find my fulfillment in this world. I got to live now. I got to indulge myself in everything. No, that, like we were talking about that quote from Jim Carrey. He says, I wish I could give all the people, all the cars, all the women, all the money in the world so they realize that it will not make them happy.
Yeah.
I believe we just need more rites of passage in general for example, if you go and take ayahuasca or I mean, that's to me that's rites of passage, better passage.
You familiar with the term?
And more things of
so think of like a tribe, like the boy, he's now 16, he's ready to become a man, so they make him go through a certain initiation, exactly, and then it that's the same thing with bar mitzvahs and all that stuff. It's like this is a line. Now you are an adult. Now you go and do your thing, and then And then it does have a lot of symbolism and all that. But continue saying what you're saying because I just wanted to know.
I mean, that's pretty much it. Also, like the tribes that put those gloves on with
the bullet ants.
The bullet ants.
They put like hundreds of
you know
bullet
about
ants,
that?
and they just get bit.
They make these
by them.
gloves, and they sew bullet ants into the gloves, and they
Yeah.
sedate them, and then they have dudes put them in, and
See if they can-
and they're just biting the shit out of them. And it's like the most painful insect bite on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you get into like a psychedelic hallucinating like trance, and you're supposed to like dance there for an extended period of time, let's say 10 minutes. And you're supposed to do that like 20 times before you're accepted as a man, as an adult.
Yeah, because you have to be able
Before
to
you're, like,
handle
18 or some
pain.
shit.
Because
Yeah.
everything else there's no comparison to that pain. So it's like you can deal with it. So it is a practice, but it's a crazy practice. I understand how
There's one thing I
savage.
would-
But in the end of the day, how does that contribute
Their
back
hands
to
look like afterwards.
the world?
So now you are not going to be such a little
Freddy
bitch
Krueger's
when someone says, "Yo, can you go get some water from the river?"
Yo, I
don't
have
know,
bullet
I'm
ants all over
tired.
my arm, man. You don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nothing, man. I can do that.
I almost got drowned in the water as a 2-year-old. The one thing I want to add though, so like for people that, because I don't think religion is necessarily for everyone, and I'm not necessarily a believer, but I think there is a great value to the symbolism that religion puts you through, and more importantly, the submission. So I think it's important for all of us to essentially submit, whether it's whether it's a higher being or a higher purpose or a higher entity, because it kind of kills your ego and makes you realize that what you're going through isn't all that important, right?
Yeah.
So when you can submit to God's will or whatever it is that you choose, it makes your day-to-day struggle easier. It makes it easier for you to put others over you because you're not that important anymore. You've submitted already to another being or to a higher purpose.
I'm gonna add to what you like. I'm gonna bring up what you said earlier, like a cog in the machine. So like
Yeah.
when you go and you like become part of this community, you're okay with being a cog in the machine and things just flow. Instead of sitting there trying to like control everything, like no, shit's gonna fall apart. You have to go with the nature of reality.
Because we're not
and so on.
God. I mean, I believe that's the symbolism of the Tower of Babel. Or also, if you look at the tarot card, the tower, it's man is. If you don't accept the higher being, like Chris is saying, man is going to act like they are God, because that's the only logical conclusion if you relinquish any higher being, and so we're gonna be God. But that never works. That's why if you look at the tarot cards of the tower, there's a tower and then there's a lightning bolt that always crashes you back down. Let's say back into chaos or just back into pieces. Or in the Tower of Babel, it's the same thing. It's this, we're trying to build up this thing on our own, thinking that we're wise enough to do it. Let's say with technology nowadays, that's where we're probably running into a problem with
You
AI.
can't be your own God.
But we're not God. And so I think it's exactly right. We need to submit to a higher being, to a higher value. And yeah, whatever.
But I
it
think
is.
this is the beauty of Christianity. I'm the Christian ambassador.
Well,
here.
Christian
So-
ambassador.
Well, of course.
But I think the beauty behind Christianity is it takes that truth
I was gonna use that
and
word too.
it responds to that. It responds to the fact that man cannot himself come and figure out what this world is all about. He can't figure out what he's created for on his own. He could, I think, through the power of reason, argue that there is a being, a supreme being, not only supreme being, but a being that everything else receives its being from. I think through reason you can come to that level. But to reveal its face, to reveal who you are, your meaning, your purpose, knowing that we can't do it on our own, Christ became man. That's what I think the beauty of Christianity is that God became man to reveal that. And I think that's the only way you can actually have that truth. If you don't, then we're all just making something up.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all just making something
Yeah,
up.
we can
And if
make-
we're
we
all
can
just
make
making it up, it's relative.
Yeah, just like
Maybe it is.
That's my problem with it. But I believe that there is real truth.
No.
And I think that everybody does have meaning. Regardless if you think it or not, I think you all do have meaning. And I think that is a very powerful state of mind to have. To have not only the idea that we all have meaning, but we all have this Father in heaven that's watching over us. That's all this is playing into some big part of his quote unquote play. And I think like me and Kevin were
I
talking
agree
about this.
metaphorically, but go
Yeah.
on.
But me and Kevin were talking about this. If you don't have that providential aspect, like that aspect that all of this is, I don't know if providential is the word to use.
Yeah, what happens if you don't have
it? If you don't have that, all this is going towards a greater good. Everything's moving towards a greater good. Even if it doesn't make sense to you. If you don't have that aspect, you're gonna go into despair much quicker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with that. I feel like you're not in tune with what's going on. Like one thing I've noticed with psychedelics is it makes me more aware of the synchronicities, and then I start to flow and I start moving in, and everything I do, it's like I'm listening to my intuition and things just work out. Like, you know, I'll be listening to a song and I'm like struggling with something in my head, something that I need to figure out, and the song will talk to me. You know, just by coincidence, but by me being in tune and me being aware, like, oh, sometimes these things talk to me. Yeah. Sometimes the universe is communicating with me.
You also might be crazy.
That too. I have to be. And then again, I can flow with those things. But if you close your mind to it and you're just thinking, no, that the world doesn't work that way, things aren't connected, then you fall into despair because you start ignoring the
If you're putting
nature.
yourself first, or if you're, what was it, you're building castles on sand?
So Jesus says that parable
fall apart.
that if
I
you
wanna hear this.
there's gonna be these people that build their houses on sand, and there's gonna be people that build their house on rock, and those who build them on sand, as soon as the wind comes, as soon as the waves come and hit that house, it's gonna come and crash. And he goes, and how great is the crash, you know? And those who build it on a rock, those who build it on what I would say is revelation, what I truly believe is revelation, what I believe on God's word, those who build it on him, those who believe that there's this Father in heaven who really cares about your suffering. Your suffering is actually going to some greater good. It's not meaningless. Those who have that, they can hold on. They can fight through that much better than somebody who doesn't have something like that to lean on.
Yeah, they're literally grounded.
Yeah, they're grounded in that rock. That's what the faith is about. That's that trust. You're going through this. Even sometimes your eyes are closed. You're going through this, but you have that trust that all this is for his greater good, and God, I'm going to trust you in this. It might not make sense to me, but I do trust you. And so there's an analogy that's commonly used. It is that man is on the backside of a tapestry.
Okay.
You know, there's a beautiful design on the other side of the tapestry. You know, it was all done purposefully. There's an artistic aspect that's just, it's gorgeous. But on our side, we just see the back chaotic sewing. You know, it doesn't make sense on our side. Mm-hmm. But on that side, when we get to heaven, I think it's all going to make sense. I think we're going to be like, that's why I went through that. And like, we're going to not only make sense to us, but we're going to be thankful for the way he did it.
There's order to the chaos.
Exactly.
What do you think of? Sorry,
Go for it.
I don't know if I'm yelling into this mic because I know it's really.
kind of changing the subject.
I got excited about this. I'm about to pull up the Bible.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Freddie had spoken about. There was something you said when Andy was talking about something where you said I don't know. Did you remember what that was? Because I wanted to know where you were gonna go with that. He was talking about God becoming man, coming to earth through Jesus as man. You're like, I don't know. I don't know if that's what you were. If not,
So I can add something to what Andy was saying.
Go for it.
When you were to make the idea a little more concrete, where it's like building
Tangible.
your house on rock instead of sand, and having something above you. You can look at it like it's just having strong values, and so if you base your values on, let's say, love, your family, and taking responsibility for your family and doing good for yourself and your community, and for your family and whatnot, and just strong values of working hard and having goals. That is what keeps you strong when the wind comes. You know what you actually value, and as long as those things aren't shattered, or you can still fix it, you'll be fine. But if you're just going day to day in a hedonistic lifestyle, working, coming home and watching Netflix and not having any real goals and just serving yourself, when something comes and disrupts your well-being, you're gonna fall apart. Yeah. You're gonna be super upset and devastated.
That's the use of religion, where it's already laid out for you. You don't have to figure it out every contextual.
And whatever
That's where I think a great value is. It's
Yeah.
a great story and it's structured already, and it's almost
already figured out for you.
It's very it can click with a lot more people than what other stories or paths or different religions might be able to bring. Like if you try to figure it out on your own,
It's a lot harder.
it's impossible compared to how much easier it is to submit to a religion, submit to a God, have a relationship with with a higher being. It's like praying in itself. Even if you're not religious,
Powerful.
It's extremely powerful because you're almost giving it up to the world or the universe or whatever it is and saying, like, I'm putting this in your hands. Like the amount of times I hear our parents say that, like I put that in God's hands, and I don't, I got little goosebumps there, but like I don't necessarily believe in that it's all God will take care of it, but just the act of I'm putting that in God's hands. I'll let him.
You're letting go.
You're letting go.
You're not
Yeah,
carrying
word.
that
And
weight
you're not-
anymore. It's
yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna let whatever happen. And again, you're flowing.
One of my favorite things as of late, like the last few years, has just been like, I don't get like, you can't get upset at the weather. You can't get upset at things you can't change. Like, you're gonna get upset it's raining out. Like, what can you do about it? Nothing.
Control what you can control.
What can you really do about most things that happen to you or happen around you in the world? Almost nothing. Like, you don't really have all that much control over the bad things that come your way or the obstacles that you face. But if you can always have that practice or have that ability in your brain to disconnect from parts of it and just focus on what you can control, I mean, that's a huge value because it helps you. It's not that it fixes the situation, but it helps you within it. And you might still struggle for 4 more years, but at least within that struggle,
You weren't suffering.
You're not suffering as much. So it like gives that away. It gives it like you submit to it and it gives away that suffering because it's like I can't control that. I'm doing my best.
Me and Freddie were having a conversation a little while back. I think it was when you were going for your job interview and stuff. And you know, Jesus says something along those lines where he goes, Jesus.
Oh, okay.
He goes along, he says
Big J.
No, I'm saying what he said.
Talking shit.
He said something along those lines where he said, why do you worry so much about the next day? You know what I'm saying? Don't be worried so much about the future. Like, you can't add, I forgot how he puts it, but you can't add a hair to your head by worrying. Like, you're not changing anything with all this worrying. So don't be anxious about it.
Add a hair to your head. That's good.
Yeah, and
He's
so
been trying for months.
Freddie was going for a job interview, and I think this is the beauty of it, is that even though he may not have gotten that job, he did get the job. I believe he did get the
Got
job.
a job.
But he got a job, whatever. But even if he didn't get the job, you know, you was stressing, right? Can we say that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you was stressing. Okay, and so we had this conversation about sometimes don't get so caught up in all the failings that happen in life, all the doors that you feel are being closed. Because if that Father in heaven is true that Christ talks about, that door might be getting shut because it's better for you at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
From our perspective, we might think, that door is gonna be my best door. I'm gonna make more money there, and we make we make sense out of it. But from God's perspective, he cares more about your character. He cares more about you becoming who you're created to be. And if you have that trust in him, if you really have faith in him, you're basically saying, God, you know me better than I know myself. I can accept this closed door, you know? And people don't have that.
Word.
The people who don't believe in God, they don't have that. They just see a door getting closed on their face.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And I think that goes again to the building your house on sand. If you don't have that rock, you don't have that trust into him, that Father in heaven, that closed door is going to hit you hard. People don't like that closed door.
One stipulation that I'm going to add to that, Andy, is because you say the people without God.
Yeah.
I think someone can not have God but have the lessons, and still, again, the door closes. Okay, bad things happen. It's all right. I don't need to do that. There's other options instead of like people who just in their mind because they can have God and they can be mad at God because people do that too.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, God closed the door. Me, that fucking asshole. I wanted this and that, and then like. You're only digging yourself deeper. You're only creating suffering for yourself instead of going with the flow and figuring out that, you know, because we always expect everything to go right. So when one thing goes wrong, it's the end of the world. And
Yeah, imagine like the idea of like getting mad at God is just crazy. Like if you're a believer, it's like, oh,
Good
why
way to be
God, why
depressed.
me? It's like I get the instinct to think that way, but it's like that's almost like you're not a believer. Like if that's what if you're getting mad at God for what he did to you, then like
you actually don't have the faith.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And not only that, putting man in his context, right? In his proper context. Us to God is like a worm to man. You know? A worm isn't gonna grasp things from on any level that man does. You know? And man is not gonna grasp anything on, you know, and hold on, I'm trying to say this in a clear way. From a worm to a man is a finite distance. From a man to God is an infinite distance because God is infinite. God is eternal. God has He works at a level that we're not seeing. And so when we're saying, God, I'm mad at you. You're messing up my life.
Yeah,
You're basically
spreading
saying,
left
God,
to Santa
I
Claus.
understand this world at the same level you do, and you're messing up. You get what I'm saying? It's such a sense of pride. It's such a sense of like, it's you getting caught up in that, and I keep using the word ego because it's what it is.
It is ego.
You just get lost in who you are. Like, no, you're not on that level. And I think that's another that also pertains to suffering. Suffering is something we're not going to understand. It can make sense on his aspect, but people don't want to accept that because we don't like being uncomfortable. You know. But I think through that uncomfortability, we grow a lot.
Yeah.
Through suffering, we grow more. We gain that character, that true character that we should be striving to achieve. So,
Like pain itself is a tool. Because if you put your foot in a fire and you didn't move it because you didn't feel anything, your foot's gonna get burnt off. It's useful. You know, when your back is hurting because you've been laying down all day, get up, go do exercise. Like these pains are actually leading us in the right direction, but it's just uncomfortable, and then we complain about it.
and how much have you learned off the dumb stuff you've done?
Oh, the most.
Yeah, the
You
most.
learn
The
more
best.
when you lose.
The most, yes.
Shit goes bad. Oh, I am never doing that again.
Never,
Easy.
ever.
Never doing that
You
again.
apply that to everything.
Yeah.
There was a quote that goes, life is the only classroom where the test comes first and the lesson comes afterwards.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, it is so true. Like you don't get this stuff. There's another one that goes along those same lines. It goes, life can only be lived forward, but it can only be understood backwards.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
So I just think that we need to be humbled, man. Man needs to be humbled every day sometimes, and humility is the great, and that's another
That's part of the
Christian
struggle
virtue.
thing
Is
that I was
just
talking about earlier. To bring that back, is we need to constantly be going through struggles
and
That's
challenges.
humility.
It betters us.
Imagine if you're trying to. Imagine you're doing anything, like whether it's just anything new, and every day it's just success, and progress. But you're just getting better every day, and every day you're getting like you feel that you're getting better. That's not how. That's not how anything works. Whether you're making music, whether you're training for a marathon, whether you're trying to get your nutrition up or trying to fight through an illness, like there's not a thing in the world where if you start to do it or you're trying to get better at it, every day you just get better and you feel
It's like
like
a
you're
straight
getting
line.
better.
You always have
Even
to
if
take
you
steps
are getting
backwards.
better day to day, you don't feel that
Yeah.
way.
At all.
And you're not supposed to.
You don't even see it.
Yeah, and
Exactly. It's like jujitsu.
C.S. Lewis used C.S. Lewis. I love C.S. Lewis. Anybody that hasn't read Mere Christianity, go read Mere Christianity. And if you're only gonna read one chapter, read the chapter on pride. Anyways, Mere Christianity says, we grow throughout our life, but you never you never watch yourself growing. You just always look back and like, damn, look how far I've grown. And that's
You
what
never
life.
see the growth.
You don't see the growth actually happening. You just look back and see how much you've grown. And I think that also speaks to our character. Our character, we don't see it happen every day. We don't get it why everything's happening. But when we look back, we're like, yo, I'm grateful I went through those things because it made me a better person.
And it also
For the
has
most
to-
part, I'm speaking in general because
Yeah.
sometimes you just.
No, I agree.
One thing I find interesting too is just how this is me going back to some of the topics we were talking about earlier about like you might want something, but God might have something better for you, type of deal. It just makes me think about how powerful the brain is. So what I mean by that is we could really go ahead and convince ourselves that we really want something. That like, this is it. God, this is it. This is what I want. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, you'll be there all day saying that this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. And meanwhile, God that has, that knows what's actually better for you, whoever believes in God, I'm just using that for the example, but will be like, nah, that's not for you. You know what I'm saying? And then later on in life where you can go ahead and look back and be like, yo, I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I didn't get that thing that I thought I really wanted. Because that's how powerful our brains are. That's the craziest part. You could really convince yourself that you want something. Like, so for example, here's an example. Like, let's say if you really want a girl. I really want that girl, man. I want that girl. This is the one. This is the one I want. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
She's the one. She's the
and then you will create this entire story of like, this is it, and it's like, yo, you don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't even know the person.
You're making this whole shit
hung out
up
with
right
her for an
now.
hour.
this whole
Word. And then like
Morning, Julia.
Good morning, Julia. Yeah. I don't know. I just think that's very interesting, and just being aware of how much you're really not in control, because you can convince yourself that you think you know shit when you don't. You don't know things, and you know sometimes you do and you don't. But really, what I mean by that is just like
We're fundamentally ignorant. And
You're
you're never.
never-
you're not
saying
really in
too.
control of this shit.
We're never in control.
Infinitely.
And that goes into the whole thing where you don't watch yourself grow. You have to look back. It just shows how little we know. Like, we can't actually see things. And that's why humility is important, because it helps put things in perspectives. If things went well all the time, you wouldn't live in reality. 'Cause in reality-
Things wouldn't be going well. They'd be
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
just be delusional.
So now, like, when you get humble, you realize, oh, I'm really tiny in this whole equation, and there's only so much I can control, and it's gonna help you out. Chris, I know you were
I
trying
want to ask you a question. It's going to change gears a little bit, but what do you think of the path that the new pope is taking the Catholic Church, or at least the openness or tolerance that he's showing, where maybe there was intolerance prior?
Okay, so if you look at the three popes, how they've basically
The last three.
Yeah, the last
So
three.
you
So
keep
you
up
got
with
John
this
Paul II, not much, but you got John Paul II, right?
That was the first one?
He
Which
What?
one's that? Which one's that?
That was the
John
one we were
Paul
born
II.
into.
That was the one. Yeah, that was the one that I think that in
Yeah. And then
2005.
Who was-
I forgot what year.
who was
he
the
died
quitter?
in. What?
Who's the quitter?
Benedict.
Oh, that's my favorite pope. That's Pope Benedict.
Yeah? He's your
Yes,
favorite?
because he was a thinker. He was a person that
Was he
loved
the
to think, that loved to attack like the biggest issues.
Was he the one in the Nazi youth program?
Yeah, but that was forced. He couldn't.
I'm
He
just
couldn't.
asking
Had no
questions.
The one
choice.
that looked like Darth Sidious from Star Wars.
But you read his writings, he was mad smart. And so John Paul II basically was more about teaching us what the faith is, right? Like he was more caught up about practicing this new Catholicism for the new world. Like there's a lot of changes happening. Then you got Benedict. Benedict is there to basically explain why we believe these things happen. And then Pope Francis is here basically to show how to live it. You know, if you see, because we're so divided right now, I think that's what the Pope sees. I think, hopefully this is what it is. I think that he sees that we are so divided, we are becoming, what's the word called? Like tribalish? Like
Yeah.
it's us against you guys.
Yeah.
And so he's taking a very subtle route where he's just like, he still speaks the Catholic truth, but he's not shoving it like, yo, drawing that line right down the sand. Like, yo, it's like this. No, he's going, guys, let's freaking get together, talk about these things. Let's love one another. That's his thing. He's focused more on love. And I think the focus on love is what draws people the most.
Yeah.
You can teach all day,
Word.
but
Yeah, I
the
think it's the
example of love is what draws people.
Powerful.
I think
Yeah,
he's the
love
most
is so
loved pope, at
powerful.
least by by
Not John Paul II has
I'm
it.
not, yeah, but I'm saying by like as of he's popular now.
Yeah.
And it's just because of the positions
Modern.
he's taking
Yeah.
on certain things.
But he
Because it's more universal, and I'm saying 'cause to the world, not just
Yeah.
Christians or people or Catholics, but to non-Catholics and non-believers.
But
And it's
him
like, all right, that's-
emphasizing love is, I think,
Yeah.
what we need most right now.
For
Would
sure.
you feel like? Do you feel like he's a better example of Jesus and what he taught them, because he's like so hardly emphasizing on love, and that was such a big thing?
What do you mean?
Well, that was like, because as you're saying like, he's here to like get everybody to love, and he's trying to share the love and trying to communicate with everybody. Like, that's closer to what Jesus was trying to teach.
I think all three of them put together is what we're all called to
The
do.
Trinity.
We're all called
The
to
Trinity.
learn what we believe, reflect on it. I think that's a problem people don't take serious, is we don't really reflect on what we believe and why we believe things. We just jump. And that's why Jesus calls us sheep. We are sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see people, one person comes up, he's trending, everybody gets behind that. And then that person, they'll burn down. And then people turn against that person. Then they'll start following this person. And that's how we are. We just go with trendy ideas. And Jesus acknowledges that. He's like, you guys are sheep,
Yeah.
And in Jesus, he was focused on not only reflecting, not only teaching, but also loving. It was all three. And I think that's what we all need. We all need to reflect on what life is about, what is meaning, what is purpose, where does it come from, all that. We all need to help teach each other. I think teaching, reflecting on truth, that's just an aspect of it, reflecting and teaching it, and then to live it out, to go out and love the world. Go out and love people, even if you don't agree with them. That's the thing that annoys me the most. I get into arguments with people, and I can attack the idea. And sometimes I fail too. But attack the idea. Don't attack the person. Don't be freaking...
But unfortunately what happens is people take it personal. They can't separate
the idea from the person.
Because at that point,
so you're calling me dumb.
Yes. Right. Because if this is the idea and this is the way I'm living my life, then you're attacking my life, which is my decision. Now you're insulting and attacking my beliefs.
I
my intelligence.
and you think that's dumb, so you think I'm dumb.
Right.
So I think you're dumb.
So fuck you.
The chasm between us is just getting bigger. That split between us just gets bigger. The walls come up, and then we don't have that ability to just communicate with each other. We shut down that passage of love when we do that. And this is the beauty of our family, because we grew up discussing ideas, making fun of each other's ideas, but we never took it like, yo, I'm not talking to you, Michael. You challenged me, yo. You hated my idea. I hate you. No, we challenged each other. We sharpened each other. We made each other think about where you stand, why you believe what you believe. Yeah, we're doing it now.
Yeah, luckily, like, we couldn't run away from each other. So if you were to say something that really challenged my idea and it upset me, I can be upset and I can storm away home, but then I have to see you the next day and it's like, all right, back to love again.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that's exactly what you can do on social media and the internet. You can run away from it.
Yeah.
You can say something,
delete them,
and you can block them.
Block
them. Hear from them again.
Done. I don't want to grow.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn.
No.
I just want to know.
I don't want to be challenged. And one of the things I love to say to people is, if you're afraid of your position being challenged, if you're afraid of that, then you probably shouldn't be holding that position.
Yeah, that thing's gonna crumble on you
at
some
point.
point.
Brooklyn. I wanted to talk to some of these people out here, see what the hell they think, because I want to know. I don't want to hear it from my perspective. I don't want to make your argument for like whatever the belief is. I want to hear it from you. That's why I love talking to you, because like I can't make your argument. You have to make it. And there are things you're gonna say where I go, oh damn, like that's, I don't know, I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
Maybe if I think a little bit longer, I could think of an answer. But either way, I get to find something new and sharpen my sword with it.
Yeah, we care less about the idea and more about truth.
Yeah.
I'd rather be proven wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
I want to hear
I
it.
can figure it out and say, okay, cool, now I'm no longer an idiot.
Yeah,
so next time I have this conversation, I can actually...
I've been hearing the same arguments in my head about whatever topic, about this topic. I'm sick. I'm not going to win this by myself. Like, I'm just going to talk in my head and, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, no.
That's a good way to go crazy.
I want to hear what you have to say, so I can know that if I sit down and rationalize with you, then I know that my ideas are more powerful, or the
or
thoughts, aren't exactly.
Yeah,
but if I can sit down and
Win.
talk to you and we're discussing something and on debating something, and at the end of it I've made good points and I know I've thought about it decent, at least in comparison to with this person. But if I go and make my argument and then someone goes, well, you didn't think of this, and I go, oh shit, I didn't think of that. Wow, I should think about that.
Where certain people be like, fuck you, it doesn't matter, that's not important. And then like,
you're
redirect
racist.
the argument.
It's
It's all about the win, the conquest.
And how many times, if you look at all the times you argue with people passionately, how many times have you argued with somebody and you changed their mind? And they're like, wow.
Never.
That's a great argument.
Not once.
I need to go home, reflect on this, and I may change my position.
You're never gonna turn a vote
That's
around. You can move
so
it
rare.
to the right a little bit, but you can't. Like,
A lot of the times too, when you're arguing with people, like we all do it. We want to get our point across. So what ends up happening is like we don't really attack the main thing. We'll just go in circles talking about different shit. And it's like I'll say something and I might slip up in what I'm saying about this point, and then you'll go ahead and start talking about that one thing, and now we're in a tangent talking about this. It's like, but we never even finished when we were the original reason we sat down.
That's another thing that happens in arguments.
We do that all the time.
You won't even be arguing about the same thing.
Right.
yeah, you lose the question. You don't even remember what it's like.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're talking about.
We've done that before. We're like, wait.
And then we don't get anywhere, and then you
I'll
just
say
get
that.
tired.
Oh, we agreed the
It
whole
happened
time.
at your house. We were talking about something about relationships or with girls, and we completely got off topic, and then eventually, like 45 minutes later, someone was just like, but what does that do with the original question? And we were like, nothing.
No, we wanted to argue. That's what we wanted to do.
Oh, we just had fun arguing. Okay, great.
Like earlier, you were talking about reflection, and it's funny because it also applies to the question I asked you before. Is like, what things does humanity need to do to get out of this hole? It's not really a hole, but you get what I mean. And I think reflection is one of those things because again, that comes with awareness. people are unaware. People are sheep. People don't think for themselves. They'll sit there and they'll die hard for an idea that they don't actually believe in, and then they're putting fuel into a machine that needs to be shut down. And like
just to be part of that machine.
Yeah, like, and that's a big thing with our political parties right now. They're both wrong, but everybody's, that one's wrong and mine's right, and it's because they're unaware, because they're just following. They're just being sheep. Where everybody needs to be able to come back and meditate and reflect, and that's another thing with prayer as well, because that's part of it. Because I think that's another thing I find from prayer that's very powerful, is the ability to reflect and the ability to, again, come into the next day with new perspective and be closer to truth.
Yeah.
People just want to be part of something too.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like-
yeah. People don't want to be alone.
Yeah,
We're social creatures.
Whether you really like politics, could be your religion or whatever it is,
Yeah.
you know.
Or your diet. Your diet can be your religion.
Exactly, your
or the
diet.
shape of the
It
planet.
doesn't matter. Or plants, like people you don't want to be alone. You want to be with something.
And if you step away from the news, you step away from the social media, you realize it's not that crazy outside.
There should
No,
be a
it's
news
Nah,
network that
I don't watch.
focuses on the
I don't watch
positive
TV. I don't know
news.
anything about politics. I don't know anything about
Part
that
of the path
stuff.
of
My
the
life
Jaguar. Today, a
continues.
kitten will see it.
It's good to know
I
those
think,
things.
I think you should keep yourself updated with what's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Ultimately, how
that's not on
how much
CNN.
is it affecting your life though? Your day to day life.
There's
not
levels
on
to it too,
Fox.
because it's up to you. Because if you go and you see like, oh, there was like 80 people murdered today, and the next week it's 12 people shot up here, and they're like, it is very dismal and it's so depressing. It's like, oh my god, what's happening to this world? But then if you can again increase your perspective and see what's actually going on, it's like, oh well, less people died this year than the year before. There are no people on horses shooting down villages. Like we're doing a little better. It sucks that these things happen, but in perspective, things are better than ever.
my
Ask
big-
people. Go ahead, sorry.
go ahead, no, because I'm gonna change the topic probably.
No, if you ask people if America's doing better economically than it was doing 50 years ago, they would say no. Most people, I would assume.
But they have an iWatch.
But yeah, but everyone that seems to have
Apple Watch.
more than ever. People happen to have more power and like discretionary income than ever before.
Now, are you done?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
Are
so
you done?
I just don't want to interrupt.
I
I don't
have to
want
go
to
to the
interrupt.
bathroom anyway.
But one thing
go for me?
about our culture right now that is really that really has me worried is the rise of suicide. It is getting out of control.
I think
And
suicide's lower now than it was in like.
no, that's actually
40.
reached its highest point.
Really?
Yeah. This.
Where'd you read that?
What are the stats?
'Cause I've read
Who's
that-
got a phone?
I've read that.
I
it's
think
lower.
What's suicide rate?
I think
Google
because of
suicide rate.
phones, that makes sense. They're having less human interaction.
I think-
Everybody's paying attention to these things, and
I'm skeptical of that. I've
we're,
read
we're
that
missing
it's
out on
less.
a big thing. But who's really committing suicide? Like
And drug overdoses, but also
yeah, but
I
what
think
type of people?
drug
It's under the same
overdoses are
issue.
still yeah.
It's still people trying to avoid reality.
Yeah.
Trying to get away from the real
And I
life.
think that's what it is. The main reason I think is that's happening behind all this is we're having an existential crisis.
Yes.
We're losing meaning. We're losing purpose. If you don't have that meaning, if you don't have that purpose, you're gonna grow in despair and you're gonna want to escape. And I think that's why people are turning to drugs. It's just like this world has become mundane. This world is boring to me. I need something to liven me.
Yeah.
And they're turning to drugs. And I think that's a huge flag for us. Like, why is it? Go ahead.
I'm gonna read it. Yeah. On average, adjusted for AIDS, the annual U.S. suicide rate increased 24% between 1999 and 2014, from 10.5 to 13 suicides per 100,000 people, highest rate in 28 years. So it's gone up 24%, but that's the
Which is
higher
a
30
flag.
years.
three more suicides
That's a
per
lot.
100,000.
That's a lot.
And talk to your
24%.
Yeah,
parents.
it's 24, but you got to think about the rate. So it's from 10.5 to 13. So 2.5 more people out of 100,000.
And how many
That's
people?
not even a percent.
Well, let's do
increase.
that.
Oh, okay.
So, but hold on. So then 300.
But now we're talking about 99. I think suicide increased more before that because of community disbursement. There's no.
But
more-
talk to your
much
parents.
community.
Ask them how many people they knew who committed suicide. when they were
7,500.
young.
Ask your parents how many people they knew.
7,500 more
10?
people are committing.
Parents live in the,
Yeah, but
in
it's,
the mountains.
it's also population control. Like, listen,
Population
I'm
control.
sorry
I'm sorry.
that these people are killing themselves and stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry.
But
to be
For
honest.
these,
You're
but
re-
the dismal person on this
ultimately-
podcast.
Nah.
You lose hope.
I mean,
Maybe this is why you're
nah.
sorry.
Nah, but you're removed from these people. That's why you're just seeing it as a number. You're seeing it as statistics.
Exactly.
If you know these people, you're gonna care.
100%.
You're gonna be.
But unfortunately, I don't. So I don't.
It's hard to have empathy when
Yeah,
you
but
don't
like
know
I
this.
never.
Yeah, you're just
It's a
seeing a
number.
stat.
I'm looking at. I'm
Yeah.
looking at
How
a
many
number.
people when
Well,
you were in
I think
high
most
school or
people
middle school did you hear about killing themselves?
I never.
Never.
No, I probably heard it here and there, but not at this
I never
rate,
did.
man.
No, I mean,
And maybe that
And
was 'cause
suicide
I-
isn't cool at all. I'm not promoting it or anything.
No,
like that.
no,
Just-
But then
it's just like
That just means we're talking about it more.
But just in the last like few years,
know,
there's
man.
been so many like stories of suicides from like either kids that my sisters go to school with or the parents of kids. Like there have been two in the last like 2 years where fathers in our community hung themselves, killed themselves. They had 2 or 3 kids, wife. Like that's.
I take back the population.
And
control
that's a
thing.
compound.
People are gonna
effect.
take that
And
out of
that's
context.
and that's a compound effect. Because then,
what is that in context?
what happens when your father commits suicide?
What is that?
What happens when you're 12 years old and your father commits suicide?
I was.
I know somebody who saw
What
it.
happened?
The crazy part for me was there was this girl that I went to school with. We sat next to each other. We were mad cool. After that, we basically went on our way. But I always see her at the store. You know, she was still working at the supermarket. She was like, I don't want to get into detail because people could point out who it was. But I would see her all the time. She was the happiest person. I thought that person is happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're always laughing. They're always joking around. They're always having a good time. I was like, that girl has a good personality. You would never thought
it's
that girl
how-
would be the one
like,
that
think
took
of Robin
suicide.
Williams.
And she was.
Yeah, that's
Usually
it.
those people
How'd she
are the ones
do it?
who struggle the most.
How she hung herself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. How do you hang yourself? Where do you get the rope?
Yeah,
But-
it's just what it takes to get to that moment.
Yeah.
Like that takes a lot.
Yeah.
That's
a lot.
That,
And think about
So-
how many times she's potentially tried it before.
and how much that
Or
hurt.
thought, or
to
like
the
got
Thought
close.
about yeah.
Whatever, not hanging, but like just a different.
thought about
yeah.
it. Yeah. Or just
So-
like got close to it. Like today's the day. Today's the day.
I read this book
Word.
called The Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. You always hear it referred to, you know? It's always a book that people speak about because it's about this, I think he's a psychologist or psychiatrist, I don't know what he was.
It's psychologist.
He was in the Holocaust and he watched these people. Everybody's in despair, right? You're in a concentration camp. You're being forced into labor.
He was a prisoner, not like a Nazi psychologist. Like
No, it wasn't a Nazi. He was actually
he
a
was digging
prisoner.
holes.
He was a Jew, and I think he was a Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he's watching these people that he's sharing this experience with in the concentration camps, and he points out the fact that all the people who lost meaning, who lost purpose, who didn't have that to fight for, they withered away.
Yeah.
Like psychologically. There's one story that always sticks out to me. It's this guy that he ends up knowing through the concentration camp. This guy swears they're gonna get out by Christmas. This guy has his mind set on, you know, by when Christmas comes, the Allies are gonna liberate us. We're gonna be good. What happens? Christmas comes. Christmas goes. He said that guy was healthy, everything was good, but as soon as Christmas passed and Christmas went, he realized he wasn't getting liberated. And he just began to die slowly.
Lost hope. Yeah.
Yeah, because
You see that
hope
a
was
lot.
gone. All that meaning, that purpose, all that is just like, what is this all about, yo?
Power of
And then
the
he
mind,
just
man.
disappeared, yo.
Yeah, you hear
That's the
stories
power
all
of
the
the
time.
mind right there.
And I feel that's the problem
absolutely.
right now.
Yeah, because everything, all of our organs and brain, they're all connected. And then once your brain starts sending out messages to your body, like, oh, this is over.
Yeah,
Let's
his
give
body
up.
broke down.
And it just starts breaking down. Same, like I've heard stories where like somebody's dying in the hospital and they're like, I'm not going until my kid gets here or whatever. Like I want to see my kid. Kid comes in, says hi, they die seconds
Yeah.
after. Because that's what they were fighting for. Because
Right.
Or
you have hope and your
have something to
body's
live for.
still pumping what it needs to pump to keep moving, but once that's gone,
and the same story, but forgiveness too. There'd be
Okay.
like fathers or something that felt like I have to apologize, and they'd be forgiven, and they go.
yeah,
Like,
because
that's-
they're hanging in there to complete that
Yeah.
job. And
They have something to fight for.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you also hear similar stories with ghosts, like people lingering, like until
yeah.
their job is done, they haunt that person
Yeah.
or whatever, and then once they get that peace, then they can leave.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense because we are very objective driven. Where it's like, you know, you want a sandwich, you're gonna fucking keep moving until you get that sandwich or whatever it is, depending on the person. And it's very funny when it can come to that point where, again, I'm skeptical, but where it transcends your life.
Yeah.
Where you're dead, but you're still, I need to get that thing completed. And once that's completed, then I can go.
And I think that brings us back to relationships.
Okay.
I think our main focus should be on relationships, starting with those around us.
Yes.
Heal all those relationships around you. Don't hold on to grudges. Don't be hating people, because we all mess up. That's the thing about us, is that we all mess up. We all do dumb things. If you could be forgiven for the stuff you've done wrong, you can forgive those who've done you wrong. And not only that, but helping those around you get better. I think that's what okay, so there's an actual definition to love. And people, it's hard to define love.
Yeah.
But we spoke about this, but I believe that this definition, there's two of them. There's one that goes, love is the commitment of the will to the true good of the other. Or that we desire, oh man, I forgot the other one. The other one that we always use.
I've heard that one before. I don't know if I've
But
heard
the
from you or
commitment
from
of the
that priest.
love others, oh man. Oh, to will the good of the other as other. So you want to will the good of you for your sake, not for any ulterior motive in me. You know, you want to love, you want
good for the other person.
You want to will the good. And that's what I think is important, is the commitment of the will.
Okay.
I think we always want to reduce love to just a feeling, but our feelings are up and down. And they get messed up by what other people do and all that stuff. But if you commit yourself to the true good of you, Michael, if I commit myself to the true good of you, first of all, I have to know what's truly good for you. Second of all, I need to wipe out any ulterior motive in me, anything that I'm getting out of it. Because you meet a lot of people that they do things for you, but really at the end of the day, it's for something for themselves.
Okay.
Right.
And there's also people who like force things because they think it's good for you, but it's not good for you because it's not what you want. You should be a doctor. I'm telling you, be a doctor, like, because you're gonna have money, you're gonna be good.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, that's not what I want to do. This is you're making me feel terrible about myself.
Yeah.
So it comes to self-reflection and action and all those things. But go on.
But I think that's what we're called to do here and now. It's not all about, people focus on what am I going to be doing in my career, but live like now. Me and Chris have these conversations where we have time with our families. We have these time with our siblings and stuff, and we just take it for granted. And I think this is the problem with phones and all this stuff.
We take it for granted because we also play it out.
I don't think we play it out anymore. I think
Nah,
we
we've
lack
been
relationships with our
play
family
one
members.
out.
Yeah, but you live in Alabama.
There's a lack in there.
That's different. Like we see, like I get tired of going to Long Island.
Yeah, it depends what you're doing though. You get, like, I get tired of certain acts. Like I get tired of
Right,
sitting
right.
around
Drinking and
drinking,
dancing.
Yeah, like,
Right.
But
That
at the
gets
end of the day,
old.
like when I just hang around.
That's
And
I guess
connect.
that's what
I got
I
here
mean.
yesterday. I was
That's
like,
what I
damn,
mean.
I kind of miss my sisters.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but I've been
Having
hanging out
dinner
all
with the
week.
family all at the table is rare now.
Laughing, having
It
a good
is.
time,
Having a
connecting,
good
asking how
time,
people
yeah.
are. Like, okay, this is
Yeah,
where
and
you're
even when
at.
you
For
have
context,
table,
people, we
it's
have a
like-
really big family, and one thing that's really cool is that we all kind of really get along. So our family is massive and very loving, and we get along. So that's like 3 crazy things all mixed up into one. So we hang out very often and in big groups, not just like a couple of people. Like a small group is like 15 people.
I've only had one non-family member on the podcast. We're like
Yeah.
a
So
dozen podcasts in.
We're an army.
so that's what I mean by we kind of play it out, like, because we do that already a lot, but most people
But
most
that
people
doesn't
don't
take
play
away
that.
from the importance of essentially what Andy's saying, where it's like
It doesn't.
that's where, again, what I was saying before, one of the things that is really deteriorating America and the world right now is a lack of community, where it's like that's what we should be doing, making sure our family members are good, seeing how everybody's okay. That's one thing that's leading to suicides and depressions, because you're alone a lot of the time.
A lot of them
and
don't
it's-
feel loved. A lot of people are in just a state of darkness, and you don't. If you take out, you don't know who's struggling with what. Like that girl, for example, I didn't know. But if I had just, in some way reached out, that I'm not putting it on me, but I'm saying this for you in whatever position you're in. Reach out to those around you. Reach out and show them that they're loved. And I think that we start there. That's what we need to start now, is start loving those around you. Just start.
How much responsibility are you gonna apply on yourself?
Not too much.
Now, that's
it.
Okay, this is a problem right there. Because if you see it as a responsibility,
Okay.
I think that hurts it. If you see it as that's your
chore.
purpose, that's what you're supposed to be doing. In that, you...
Yeah, but you have a responsibility to your purpose.
No, yeah, you do, but I think the responsibility gives it this sort of
chore like
Yeah, it's a
want. Yeah, I feel
chore.
you.
But when you see it as purpose, that's your meaning. That's where you're gonna find your fulfillment in. Giving yourself up, like, and I
That's
keep bringing
dope.
it back to Christ
We need
because
people like that.
that's what he did. He saw it. It was a commitment of his will to the true good of all of us. And so he set that example for us, and we're supposed to carry that same will out for each other. Because we're still in Christ's body. That's when you get baptized. You're in his body. You're still carrying out his mission. You're still loving others for their true good. You know, that's what it's all about. And we need to start now. That's my main thing that I'm trying to learn myself. You know, we get caught up in everyday life where you get annoyed, you get irritated with people. But you start here, you start now, you hug people, love them, yo. Like, that's the most powerful thing that we got as man, yo, and woman inclusively, you know? And that's when...
And to add another
We gotta
layer
shut
to
this
that.
down soon. we talk forever, yo. Give me another beer. Give me another beer. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Like another layer that I want to add to
Joking,
that,
joking.
because we also have to be careful, because I do think we do have a responsibility for the people around us.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Like, we should always be looking out for each other. That's how the tribe works. Everybody's got to
Right.
take care of each other. But I think there is too much responsibility, where then you have way too much weight on your shoulders, and you start to drag yourself down and start hurting yourself, essentially, because now you're expecting to do all these things and you're not accomplishing them, and then you start feeling bad, like, oh, these people are counting on me, and that's heavy, man. You can't have the world on your shoulders.
Yeah.
It's way too much. But
Yeah.
there is a balance there where it's like
Yeah.
you have to do as much as you can. That's why I said just not too much.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Yeah.
And with those, start here. Start now. Start with those in the same room with you. You know? And if you happen to come across somebody else, love that. Like, don't go, like you said, don't go out on a limb on the first day, like on some superhero stuff. Like, you're not a superhero. Start here, start now, and love those around you. And I think that will, like, that exponential factor, like, it'll just
Compound effect. Yeah.
compound
those are
effect. That's what it's
Like,
about.
if someone were to ask me, like, what I think of, like, our community or our people or America, whatever the word is, need now more than ever is a sense of individual responsibility.
Yes.
And then exactly
Facts.
that. Focus on the 5 people around you. Focus on the 5 people that are closest to you that you can actually influence or help the most, instead of focusing on trying to change the opinions of people on Facebook or Twitter.
Or change the government.
Yeah.
Oh, once the government
or
does this,
sit
we're
there,
good.
you're gonna go fight for someone's rights in Oklahoma when you live in Vermont. Like, that doesn't make sense. How about help if every one of those people that were yelling turn around and help the 5 people closest to them in their lives?
It'll be
That
good.
would change the world.
Amen.
And I don't think enough of us do that, because I think everyone wants to go fight the big fight. It's not fun to go help the person struggling next to you.
It's real. It's also
too
harder
real. It's too
because you
real.
can sit there and just yell, "This is what we should do," and you could be
And do
completely
nothing
wrong.
about it.
And you go, oh, they'll never get it.
Oh, this is pointless. These are idiots. People are idiots. When it's like, well, you have to actually fucking do the work, get your hands dirty, and help people out.
And I also think even before going out and helping other people out, like, we're all panicking inside. Like, we don't know what's going on. Like, for the most part, most people they don't even know how they feel. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to work on figuring your shit out first.
Yes.
Individual
Clean your room.
responsibility.
Yeah, individual
Yeah.
responsibility. Figuring your shit out first before you try and go in to help somebody else. Because if I can't even really help myself, how can I really help
Yeah.
you out? Like, I gotta get my shit together and make sure that I'm in a stable situation so that I can. Once this is good, grounded, then let me pull you up onto my rock.
It's the same thing
But when
back
we're
to
both
the
playing in
influence
sand, we ain't going anywhere.
And he spoke about this as well. Like,
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson talks about how, like, lifeguards, when they approach a drowning person, they go feet first. Because
Yeah, because they drown them.
they'll drown you. So you have to, like, it's either, I can save you, or you drown by yourself, or we both drown. That's the worst.
I heard someone
So-
say that, like, when you go to save someone from drowning, I don't know if this is true, but it's, like, easier if you knock them out first and then just drag their, like, unconscious.
Probably.
Because what their instinct is they just grab.
Right,
and it's
right.
like you getting
Yeah,
grabbed.
they're panicking, you know?
they're
And so
not-
they're
they're
just
not helping.
slapping around.
Yeah, so you just
just-
go over, just,
Sorry, man, I had to. You're dragging me down.
you're welcome.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, like, the 2 very most important things. Taking care of yourself so that you can take care of other people. So back to, like, trying to do too much. Like, you have to make sure you have enough good coming in to push out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you have to
And
make
not-
sure you take care of yourself and exercise and listen to the things you want to listen to and express yourself, and then go out and help
Be
as
the
many
best
people.
And not
version of
hold
yourself.
that stuff in for yourself. You know, like, if you have goods, don't keep it. If you have talents, whatever it is, if it's material, whatever, don't just hold it to yourself. Don't try to just keep it to yourself. I think that's when you basically self-destruct. When you're like, yo, this is for me, I'm freaking gathering all this for myself. No, when you get, it's about giving. You ever like feel so good when you give somebody and they're just like, yo.
That's why I hate Christmas.
Because it's hard to give to everybody, right?
It's not even that. It's just that it's not even like I didn't even want to do this.
Yeah.
It takes
really
away instead of
does.
just giving someone something
like
spontaneously.
voluntarily,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
forced
not. It's
to.
involuntary. It's forced actually.
Yeah.
And you just grab whatever.
And then if I don't do it, now I look like the jerk.
Or if
Yeah.
you get something they didn't want when they wanted the other
Yeah.
thing.
And people go into debt. They go into
Oh,
crazy
this shit is
debt
retarded.
to give you a gift. You open up. You're gonna play with it for 2 weeks, and you're gonna be like, "This is whack.
Yeah.
I want something else."
Bill Burr talks about it, like Black Friday. He's super against Black Friday. He's just like, it's a bunch of poor people going out and buying things that they can't normally afford.
Yeah.
You can't afford the 42-inch TV, don't buy the 42-inch TV. Or don't get stampeded on to buy the 42-inch TV.
And the number one cause of divorce is financial hardship.
Word.
Wow.
Yeah. But I feel like that's
Because you have to
not-
spend like 3 months of your salary on the ring first, and then you have to go out to the wedding, and then the honeymoon.
Nah,
Like,
I'm getting married.
blowing
That's why
money.
you put things into
Blowing money.
perspective to your partner early.
Yeah. Cool. We
Well,
just
how-
sign a mortgage
how
on a house.
expensive?
Where else can we spend the rest of our money?
Yeah, what are
Alright,
we-
cool.
where are we living?
Wedding There, boom.
Where are we
boom.
living?
Where are we living?
$20,000 on a ring?
Word.
And people are also just bad with their money. Where like you see in New York City, what do people do for fun? Let's go to the bar and spend
Yeah.
$50
$9
every
a
night.
drink instead of you buy a 4-pack.
Yeah,
Take it
come to
home.
my house, hang out.
Take it
We'll
home.
actually have a conversation instead of
Well,
standing
you're
in the
not
dark with a
paying
bunch
for
of
the
strangers.
beer. You're paying for the experience.
But
What's that?
what's
What
the actual
experience is that?
experience? Standing around stools,
Yeah.
holding your jacket because there's no room. Like
And being around
You
people.
can't even see the person you're talking to.
Yeah.
Getting bumped
Not all
over
the time.
place.
Not all the time.
No.
But like it's funny that's the activity that we idolize.
Yeah.
This is the thing we're
Yeah.
gonna do. We're gonna hold. It's a Friday night. How are we not gonna go
So
to a bar?
hopefully you can meet someone.
To fuck. That's really why you're there. Let's be honest.
People want to do that.
Truly.
Truly.
Well, not everybody wants to fuck. Some people would rather read a book. So.
My man.
Yeah.
While fucking.
Well,
Yeah, if you're reading a book at a bar though, you're trying to get fucked.
yeah.
That's
You're just trying to get fucked by an intellectual.
By somebody else that reads.
That's the bait.
You're trying to get fucked. You're trying to get fucked by a reader.
What are you doing here?
One thing that was very funny that we went on a little tangent, but I want to hold on to the idea where you were just talking about not holding in the good and letting it go, and it was actually immediately what I want to talk about was Celestial Quest. It's very funny because a lot of the things we were talking about, I feel like go back to that the whole influence thing, your beliefs and all that stuff, and also giving that. Celestial Quest is Andy's Instagram and YouTube page.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
Instagram and YouTube. And basically what it is
Thank you.
that I read a lot of stuff. I read a lot of ideas. I hear a lot of people talk and stuff. And when I hear these things, I'm just like, yo, I wish other people would know about this. Cause like I said, I feel like we're in this like autopilot. We go to work, we come home, we spend time on our phone, look at everybody else's nonsense on social media, go to sleep, get up next day, and you just fall into that pattern.
I hate that shit.
Celestial Quest is about being on the what the hell is it?
That's
Being on the shoulder of giants. We have so many like intellectuals in this world, from the past to the present, that have a lot of great ideas that that people don't seem to care about. I think they're unaware of what's out there. And so the whole Celestial Quest thing is, especially on Instagram, you go down Instagram, you'll see pictures of family, pictures of plates of food and stuff.
Parties,
Celestial Quest is more
vacations.
like, yo, here's an idea. Here's something that hopefully you could benefit from. The other stuff is really about, for the most part, on Instagram, when you're posting something, it's really about yourself. When I'm posting something on Instagram, it's about me.
Yes.
Hey, look what I got.
Yeah.
Look at this, everybody. But when I'm trying to put out there, it's stuff that is potentially could give you meaning, give you purpose. Because I think that's, like we were talking about before, meaning and purpose. People are losing that. People are losing sight of that. And so I think
that could be your influence.
sharing good quotes, sharing good ideas, just trying to be like, you're just trying to build other people up. That's what it is. I don't want to hold on to the stuff I'm reading just for myself. Like you said, like it's about giving back to the community, back to the world. That you give whatever you take in for yourself, the good stuff that you take for yourself, give away to others. Share that stuff, because I think helping others get to a position where, and this is how we started the podcast, get into a position where you're good, where you feel joy, where you feel at peace. That's what we should be all helping each other come to.
And we all win that way.
That's what
'Cause
we all
everybody's
want.
good vibe, everybody's happy instead of bumping into assholes who are just miserable because their day went bad, or they believe that their day went bad, so they're just passing that on and they're doing injustices to people. Like I figured as much that that's one thing that you're getting out of doing those things, because there's a lot of people who will get a lot of benefit and a lot of value from that information and want that information, but just don't like to read. There are people who they're not going to be able to read.
Yeah.
And it's cool that like YouTube and podcasts are actually like now.
There's different mediums for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's making it a lot easier for people to take that information, especially because of time. Because now you can be in your car or you can be in the train and you can actually listen to these things. It was actually one thing that me and the group of people that were on the retreat with me, like after we were done with the peyote and the 5-MeO DMT, we were like, we got all this beautiful information and all this insight, and it's like, it's not enough. Because now we have to give it out. Because that's where it's like, that's where we're getting more enjoyment. Because when we're sharing with each other, it was really powerful. And it's like, one thing we kept talking about is like, how do we pass this on? You know.
And like when I was young, I didn't like reading.
A lot of people, it's work.
It is work. People don't like work. Yeah. Like the Bible is I think the most amazing book. Obviously, because I think it speaks to our purpose here. It gives us our identity, what this is all about. But the Bible's intimidating. People don't realize you pick that Bible up. First of all, it's huge. It's got like
papers
some
are mad thin.
Archaic language. Yeah, mad thin. The words are mad small.
It's got two sets of paragraphs every page.
And eventually you're gonna have to read Deuteronomy, and that is like the most repetitive chapter.
But it's work, and people don't like that. People don't like being challenged. People just want stuff like thrown at them and like spoon fed. Spoon fed.
You want the results without the effort.
But that was the thing. It started with the Bible for me, and I started reading the Bible. I'm like, this is amazing. Now I want to hear what other people say about this. And then I started reading more books, now I'm addicted to reading because I died to myself in that sense, where I was just like, you know what, I want to understand what this is all about. Let me start reading this. Let me start understanding what people say about this. Let me get their help on understanding this stuff. And now that I got a better understanding of it, now I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm starting to love reading. You know, like that was cool to me. I was just like, wow, I'm beginning to enjoy it. And so I'm at this point now that I wake up. My favorite part of the week is waking up on a Saturday morning, grabbing a coffee, opening up, pulling off a book off the shelf and just like, yo, I want to read this. It's another world. You're entering through that guy's world. His experience, his mind, like you're experiencing the world through his mind.
As someone who's been dead for hundreds of years, thousands of years, and you're expanding your life. Like there's a quote somewhere, I'm gonna butcher, I don't remember the name, but it's like the person who doesn't read the book only lives one lifetime. The person who reads many books lives multiple lifetimes.
A
fact.
A philosopher said that when you go into a library, people don't go into libraries as much as they used to. But back then, he's like, I would go into a library, I would just see it as a bunch of doors into like other people's worlds. You
That's
know?
100% it, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure you want to write too, right? You want to write things as well?
I do write things on my phone, but they say you're more creative when you do it on paper.
He wants me to.
I'm saying, like,
it helps you.
Do you think you're gonna put something? What was that?
He wants me to write things.
Yeah, I do. I try to encourage people to write things. 'Cause I think we all, like I said, I think we all have something to contribute to society.
I think
you
so
know,
too.
We all have our unique perspective of this world. We all have our own journey, our own experiences, and that's why I feel like everybody has value. You don't realize you have value, and when people get into that dry spot in their life, where they're just like, yo, like my life sucks. Like, no, you have a beautiful life. You should be sharing what you've gone through, what you learned, and helping each other realize that they're valuable and they have something to contribute. And so when I tell him, yo, start writing these ideas. Don't because how much stuff we throw away, how many thoughts that you come across and you're like, wow, that's a good thought.
I should have been rich.
I should have been rich.
That was a good thought.
Yeah, but we throw all this stuff away.
Idea right there.
But
$100,000 idea.
I see those as gifts. I see all those ideas and stuff that you come across, all those experiences in life as gifts that you're supposed to share with the world. And that's that treasure, yo. That treasure that I was talking about in the beginning. We all have our own treasure to share with the world. Not to hold to ourselves, but to share it to the world. You know, through love, man. Everything's grounded in love, so.
Yeah, I'm worried that those thoughts that I've had that were like really profound and I just didn't write them down. They're just gone forever.
Yeah.
Like just gone.
But they're in your subconscious.
That's what I'm saying. Like
You gotta
that's what I'm
unlock the
hoping for. I'm
subconscious.
hoping that's what I'm worried that it like goes away, but hopefully I'll pop that up again. Like, oh yes, where's that fucking pen?
Yeah.
Because like, it's weird because our consciousness is a separate dimension. It's a different world, right?
Yeah.
And when you write it down, you turn it into a book or a film or a song, then you make it tangible. And now I can pass it on to you. If I draw the image out, like, again, I'm there seeing cartoon characters that I've never seen them ever. Like, I'm creating these things, but they're gone now.
Yeah.
If I drew them, and now you guys can see it, now I can tell you what they are. And you can, instead of me explaining, oh, it looked like this and that.
And that idea that you throw away could be potentially a seed in somebody to get them going.
Yeah.
You know, set
Yeah.
that fire off on them, you know, in them. So I think that's it all comes back to giving, yo. To dying to yourself and learning to contribute to others and love others, man.
Because that always gets passed on.
Yeah.
It inevitably, whether it's good or bad. And that's why they say, like, whatever, like, these things are contagious. Because if you treat somebody like shit, then they're going to, for the rest of the day, start treating people like shit. Unless they're a little better at that. But now if you give somebody some nugget of truth and some happiness, that gets passed on to the people around them, their kids, and it's just...
The reason we're at where we're at with all this progress in technology, all this progress in creativity, the arts and music, all that, is because somebody was like, I have an idea. Let me share this with this person. Oh, that person's like, oh, I have this idea that could work with that idea. And they'll begin to construct things. And over time, this stuff evolved into us now. We're how many feet up in a building, chilling, talking into a mic. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff started as seeds in people's heads.
Yeah.
You know, thoughts in people's heads. And we all helped build society up to this point.
Yeah.
And we got the torch now. We got to carry out our ideas and, you know, work together to contribute to the future society.
Yep.
Yeah.
'Cause who knows what, like, let's say we inspire a few people with this. Like, first it didn't start with us. Again, who designed the microphone?
Yeah, none of these
Podcast,
Who
the idea of podcast,
all of our ideas
camera,
aren't ours.
that high class lighting system y'all got out there.
Let's not show that on the camera.
You keep it going.
And again, it doesn't start with us, and it's just like this build up, and then who knows? Like, we might inspire some regular person to do one tiny thing, but then that person passes on, in thousands of years from now, one little
That
phrase you
butterfly.
said,
What's that butterfly
effect?
Yeah, the butterfly effect.
And then the domino
Ashton
effect.
Kutcher, right?
Exponential. Compound
Yeah,
effect.
you're right.
Yeah,
That was the movie.
yeah.
It's bugged out.
Love everybody. Go out there and love the world, man. Go and contribute what you got.
Also,
to the
go
world.
show me some love on your phone right now.
There you go.
Right on your phone, you actually already have this beat tape that I
And
made.
this is free, only today.
Actually, no.
Actually, no, not today. I'm sorry.
It's not only today. It's for today and going forward, and to help you get through whatever you're going through
And
in life.
tomorrow's today.
I made some beats. Go check it out. It's on your streaming platform on your phone. It's already on your
Free.
phone.
Are you giving the name?
Free.
You want to tell them how to find it?
I'm gonna tell you how to find it. I wasn't rudely interrupted by people that didn't love me.
Take your time. Take your time.
It's called Sonic Massage by Charlie Mayo. Go
Also, check
that
out Bedford by
Bedford as well. We
Ferdolo.
dropped that
Charlie.
earlier this year. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Berry Goose Records. Go listen to it.
They
Enjoy
make
it.
Berry Goose records, man.
The best.
When they say nothing is free in this world, they lied. What Freddie's providing here is his gifts, his talent.
It wasn't
to
free
the
for
world.
me.
It wasn't free
But
for
it's
him.
free for you.
But he's giving it to you for free.
You
Why
do
not
have
take
to pay for
advantage
an
of
iTunes
that?
subscription every month?
Yeah.
Or Spotify. It's on YouTube too as well, I hope. Oh, but whatever.
It will be.
It will be.
We're not there yet, guys. You know, step by step. You know, don't overwhelm yourselves now.
One step at a time. I think that's where we should end it. Right there. Yeah, we've been talking for a while. It's great.
We got a ride too.
Did the camera shut off?
Of course it did. That's what happens.
I
It's
was gonna ask.
those third gen batteries.
Ah.
Third
I was gonna
party
ask.
batteries. It happens. It says
Thanks
that.
for having me on your show, man.
Yo, Andy, thank you so much for your wisdom
Thanks
and
for
your
coming,
knowledge.
man.
Great conversation.
You know, it was absolutely a lot of fun. Thank you guys all for joining as well.
Thank you.
And,
Another shout out. We got Silly Slime. He's gonna be dropping EP soon. Brazilian, sampled, heavy sampled.
Brazilian.
Hopefully,
Jiu-jitsu.
maybe in spring, around that time, and then hopefully another
2018.
EP next year. So hopefully two, and there's some projects coming out. So
My man.
Check out Celestial Quest, where Andy Valerio will continue to bestow.
Pray that I
his
do it,
wisdom.
man. I got like the worst motivation, but
Yeah, you
it's
pray.
hard to sit me
You
down.
pray
I'll
on
pray. Yeah. But start loving those around you, you know, and help those around you get in a good spot. Try to bring joy and peace in this world. The world is, I feel, is becoming dark, man. More and more so.
There's plenty of light out
Start
there.
loving people.
There's people like you out there shining that light.
I think we're all called to shine that light, baby. And I love what you're doing, man. You're trying to bring out ideas and help get people to share their ideas. You know, that's what this is all about. So help us, you know, helping this
train keep going.
Yeah, this train keep going, baby. You said it best, Chris. I can't even beat that.
And thank you again. Hopefully we'll have you up.
Captain the Jaguar, baby.
We'll do some stuff over the line through the interwebs.
That'd be great.
Thank you guys for joining. Hope you guys learned a lot. Peace.
Peace.